Chapter 279. Earning money was really difficult. When Fang Ping mentioned financing to Li Qingze told him that it was not the right time. Even if they did, they would not have much money. Fang Ping could only give up on the idea. Doing missions. Magic City catacombs were sealed. The other missions in MCMAU were not big. They were a waste of time, and the rewards were average. Going to other catacombs, Fang Ping almost got lost in the familiar Magic City catacombs. If he went to other unfamiliar catacombs, the chances of him not coming back were high, unless he familiarized himself with them for a while, or moved with others. I can't do missions. I can't go to the catacombs. I can't get financing. Fang Ping's head hurt. What should he do? 35 million was actually enough for him to break through. However, Old Man Li insisted on building 5 bridges at once and entering the middle stage to tempt him. This made Fang Ping reluctant to build the internal and external bridges slowly. Zhang Yu spent a year to complete the construction of 5 bridges, Zhang Yu said. Actually, Wang Jingyang also spent quite a lot of time. These people spent a lot of time building 5 bridges. They're all geniuses. I might need half a year or even longer. If I can build it in one go, then I can challenge Zhang Yu as a middle stage rank 4. It'll be fun to beat him at the same rank and level. Of course, the key is to shorten the distance between me and Old Wang. He's only upper stage rank 4. Fang Ping thought for a long time. Finally, he gritted his teeth and accepted advertisements. While he still had some fame before the middle-ranked ranking list appeared, he was now the most famous practical martial artist below Grandmaster. Maybe he would be rich after accepting a few advertisements. In order to earn enough wealth, Fang Ping was going all out. He asked Li Qingze to contact people. While he was still famous, he would make one last profit. Not long after, Fang Ping received a few advertisements. Today, Fang Ping was still famous, and it was not a small one. The investors knew this too. While Fang Ping was still popular, they could make some crude advertising and publish it immediately. It would still be effective. Therefore, only 4 or 5 days had passed. Fang Ping's advertisement was broadcast. Fang Ping teaches you how to fight monsters. No matter how strong they are, one slash will kill them. Welcome to Little Monster World. A man like the wind. Wear Dick sneakers and walk on air. Use soft shampoo. That's how confident you are. When Fang Ping's advertisements were all over the internet, Fang Ping's advertisements were everywhere. Many people broke down. Kmo, Martial Arts Club. Ling Yi and the others were speechless when they saw the advertisement on the screen. Han Su lamented. The first in rank, 3 has run off to fight little monsters. This feeling is simply indescribable. Ling Yi gritted her teeth so hard that they almost broke. I lost to this guy. Everyone was not discriminating against celebrities in the entertainment industry. Some of the heavenly kings and queens were merciless when they killed the catacombs creatures. But you, Fang Ping, can't you be a little more shameless? Why don't you take on a few big-name advertisements? You're even accepting advertisements from roadside stalls. Sun City. Fang Yuan was devastated too. What's Fang Ping doing? Fang Yuan's expression was blank. Was her brother that desperate for money? When the advertisement came out, everyone was a little confused. Are you that short of money? Fang Yuan mumbled, but there was nothing she could do. Although she had quite a lot of money in her little vault, that was only relative to herself. Now that her brother was asking for tens of millions, there was nothing she could do. Should I recruit more members? Fang Yuan propped her head, thinking hard. They could charge for recruiting members. Meanwhile, Skmao, Chun Yunqi said sympathetically, Fang Ping really needs money. A rank 3 number 1 powerhouse had fallen to the point of picking up small advertisements. How short of money could he be? Chun Yunqi sighed softly. Perhaps this was the reason why Fong Ping was getting stronger and stronger. So what if he came from a poor family? So what if he was embarrassed? As long as he could go further on the path of martial arts, even if he lost face today, when he stepped into the Grandmaster realm in the future, it would only become a legend. In the past, Grandmaster Fong was born poor, but he still became a Grandmaster. This was a classic example of motivation. McMao, faced with old man Li's murderous gaze, Fong Ping explained helplessly, "Instructor, it's not easy to take on big-name advertisements. I'm just self-reliant. I didn't steal or rob. I didn't take on those fake medicine advertisements, and I didn't take on those deceptive training classes advertisements. It's not a big deal to take on a few advertisements for games, sports shoes, and shampoo, right? I want my reputation." Old man Li gritted his teeth and said, "Do you think we don't want our reputation? You're the first-ranked rank 3 powerhouse in actual combat. Isn't it embarrassing to take on these small advertisements?" Fong Ping said sheepishly, "Reputation isn't as important as money. These companies may be small, but they're really happy to pay. Guess, I took on 12 advertisements. How much did they pay? I took 4 to 5 advertisements a day. In just 3 days, each advertisement cost at least 2 million, and the most was 5 million. They all have money, so they're happy to pay. In 3 days, I've earned 42 million. Instructor, if I were to take on missions, how long do you think it would take?" 42 million. Old man Li was stunned. He muttered, "Is it so easy to earn money now?" Fong Ping smiled. "They're all thinking of making use of the last bit of my enthusiasm. A few million per company is actually not a lot, and I can earn some quick money. After this one, I'm afraid no one will look for me next time. I've overdrawn my potential." Old man Li snorted. After a while, he said, "You're that short of money?" "I can't help it. It's because of my family. Don't give me that." Old man Li snorted again and said, "If you're really short of money, I can lend you some. Forget it. Save it for your retirement." Fong Ping rejected him directly. Actually, what he lacked was not money, but wealth. Although money could be converted into pills and other things, there was an additional process in the process. Digesting it into strength required time. What Fong Ping needed was time. The borrowed money was not counted as wealth. Old man Li did not mind Fong Ping's rejection. He stared at him for a while and asked, "You've dragged it out for so many days. Are you ready to break through?" As he said that, his gaze was a little dangerous. "Forget about me. I'm not your instructor anyway. But if Lu Fengru comes back and finds out that you've taken on so many trashy advertisements, she'll hammer you to death. Do you believe that? But if you become a middle rank, she probably won't care about this." Lu Fengru was about to become a Grandmaster. It was indeed embarrassing for her own student to take on advertisements. Of course, it had not reached the point where she would have to punish him. However, Fong Ping would probably be beaten up. Martial artists valued strength, though. If Fong Ping became a middle rank, Lu Fengru would probably have no objections. Her student had achieved 4 ranks in a year. What was wrong with taking on some advertisements? Fong Ping's goal in taking on these advertisements was to break through. How could he say no? Upon hearing that, he quickly said, "Of course I have to break through. I'm even prepared to challenge Zhang Yu after I break through. I don't know what to say about you." Old man Li shook his head helplessly. Meeting a student like Fong Ping was a headache. However, the advertisement matter had already happened. There was no use talking about it. This kid's mind was set on making money. Perhaps he really lacked these resources. However, seeing that he was a rank 3, wielding a B-class Changdao, and wearing a middle-stage rank 5 leather armor, Old man Li just could not associate him with a lack of money. Without further elaboration, Old man Li quickly brought Fong Ping to the vitality pool. Fong Ping did not refuse, although the vitality pool consumed a lot. However, he might need the vitality pool's help. Unless there was no other way, he did not want to use his wealth. He did not have much wealth now. Although he had earned more than 40 million, he spent it very quickly. His skull hadn't been tempered yet. Vitality pool. Although it was called a vitality pool, it was more or less the same as an energy room. Fong Ping looked outside for a while, then turned around and asked the instructor in charge of this place, "Instructor, what if my vitality isn't concentrated enough when I cultivate?" "The vitality force here doesn't seem to be very concentrated. Can I replenish it in time after I've absorbed it?" The instructor in charge said with a faint smile, "I heard that your bone marrow is like mercury, and your mentality can move particles. Maybe you can really deplete the vitality here. However, the amount of vitality force supplied here is fixed. They say it's on time, but in reality it's based on quantity." Fong Ping immediately said, "But some seniors can absorb it all. Can they charge less?" "Of course not. It's their own fault that they can't absorb it all." The instructor laughed. "Don't think too much. The supply of vitality force is very difficult. Energy ores are needed to convert the energy particles into vitality force. In order to maintain its activity, the energy hearts of catacombs powerhouses are also used." As he said that, the instructor said lightly, "The hearts of living catacombs powerhouses." Fong Ping's pupils shrank slightly. "Old man," Li said nonchalantly, "catacombs martial artists can be resurrected if they die on the surface. However, if they don't die, they can't be resurrected. Powerhouses might not die even if their hearts are cut out. Kid, the cost of building a vitality pool is higher than you can imagine. It's not easy for MCMAU to build a vitality pool. Don't think about taking advantage of the university." Fong Ping exhaled. "They won't die even if their hearts are dug out? Who said anything about digging?" Old man Li chuckled. "I said that they might not die even if they're cut out. It doesn't mean that they have to be cut out. They're buildings underground." "What do you think old Lu was guarding when he guarded the southern area?" Fong Ping was shocked again. There were living catacombs powerhouses under the vitality pool. This was too risky. "Don't worry. They're all rank 4 and 5 martial artists. There were rank 6 martial artists before that. After old Lu left, they were all brought back to the catacombs and killed. Lu Po Lu went to Nanjiang. MCMAU suffered a great loss. At least a few rank 6 catacombs powerhouses had to be killed to prevent trouble. Even if something happened to rank 4 and 5 martial artists, it would not cause a stir in MCMAU." Fong Ping did not ask further. These were actually MCMAU's secrets. It was not easy for Old Man Li to tell him so much. Without credits, Fong Ping paid 5 million in cash and stepped into the vitality pool. As soon as he entered, the instructor in charge said softly, "That's fast. It's very fast. I wonder if he can build 5 celestial bridges at once." "Oh, right. Activate the rank 5's vitality supply." The instructor in charge chuckled. "You have to think about it carefully. If he drains this rank 5 to death, you'll be responsible for capturing another one. Tisk, he's just a rank 5 brat." Old Man Li said it disapprovingly. The instructor in charge did not say anything either. Killing and capturing alive were 2 different concepts. Old Man Li could kill rank 5 martial artists like it was child's play. However, capturing one alive and bringing him back to the surface was not as simple as he made it out to be. If Fong Ping extracted too much vitality force and depleted the rank 5 catacombs martial artist vitality reserve, his energy heart would collapse and the other party would die. Unless the vitality supply was interrupted in the middle of cultivation. However, this was the biggest taboo in the middle of cultivation. Without further ado, the instructor in charge operated the system and informed the powerhouse in charge of guarding the underground to change the catacombs martial artist's vitality supply. Inside the vitality pool, Fong Ping checked his stats. Wealth, 41. 54 million vitality. 1,420 calories, 1,420 calories plus. Mentality, 579 hertz, 579 hertz plus. Bones honed, 177 bones, 100%, 29 bones, 30% plus. I wonder if the vitality pool can keep up with the speed of my consumption. Building 5 bridges isn't that easy. In the past few days, Fong Ping had roughly cultivated the methods of honing internal organs. It was not much different from his previous breakthroughs. Breakthroughs in the 3 lower ranks required clearing some meridians and minor vessels. As for breaking through rank 4 from rank 3, building bridges could also be considered as creating a few meridians out of thin air. These meridians did not exist initially. Now, they had to rely on the martial artist's own vitality force to open them up and stabilize them. If I can't complete the construction of 5 bridges, I'll have embarrassed myself for nothing this time. Fong Ping was actually ashamed of filming these small advertisements. It was definitely a dark history. He said he did not mind, but how could a person like him not care about his reputation? Everything is for the sake of strength. Actually, I'm just like a celebrity. It's nothing. After comforting himself, Fong Ping emptied his mind. In the next moment, Fong Ping began to circulate his vitality according to the internal organs and began to impact the heart bridge. His vitality was also being depleted rapidly. Outside, Old Man Li, an instructor in charge, watched without blinking. Going from rank 3 to rank 4 was actually a qualitative change. Middle-ranked martial artists could speed up the recovery of their vitality even without relying on pills, mercury like bone marrow to speed up recovery, or mentality to capture energy particles. When the 5 viscera and 6 bowels were honed, martial artists' cultivation would mostly rely on the free energy particles between heaven and earth. The methods of honing internal organs also involved the capture of energy, unlike the 3 lower ranks, which mainly relied on pills to cultivate. Dean Li, can this kid build 5 celestial bridges? I don't know. Then why are you encouraging him to try? Old Man Li snorted. What do you know? This kid has no motivation without pressure. If he's under pressure, he'll be motivated. I'm just saying, if he really succeeds, it'll be a pleasant surprise. The instructor in charge did not know whether to laugh or cry. He did not say anything more. They would know soon enough. If Fong Ping really skipped early stage rank 4 and entered middle stage rank 4 directly, it would be amazing. During Fong Ping's golden cultivation period, saving a small step would definitely be more than beneficial, although they would still need to spend some time to stabilize and make up for it afterward. If he succeeds, this kid will really become MCMAU's leading figure. The instructor in charge murmured. Today, the strongest powerhouse in MCMAU was only upper stage rank 4. There was not even a peak rank 4. If Fong Ping became a middle stage rank 4 martial artist this time, maybe in the next 2 years, MCMAU would have a rank 6 student. Since the founding of MCMAU, there had never been a rank 6 student. CCMAU did have one. Chapter 280. In the blood and chi pool. Fong Ping gradually sensed that a blood-colored vitality passageway had appeared on the periphery of his heart. It was connected to the meridians that had been opened up in his body. However, this passageway was extremely dim and illusory. It's not stable enough. It will collapse soon. Fong Ping had no choice but to continue expending large amounts of vitality force to strengthen this passageway. When the passageway was reinforced, Fong Ping could almost hear the strong thump of a heart. The throbbing sound became clearer and clearer. However, as the heart beat, the power of blood began to flow, and the heart bridge showed signs of shaking again. Still not enough. Fong Ping no longer paid attention to it. He continued to pour in more vitality force and began to use his mentality to capture the vitality force that filled the cultivation room. This was not energy particles, but vitality force that was directly converted from energy particles. When his mentality moved slightly, Fong Ping realized that it was much easier to capture than energy particles. The blood qi he had consumed was rapidly recovering. 500 cal, 800 calories. Fong Ping kept circulating his vitality, filling up the celestial bridge. The qi and blood power in the qi and blood pool was also constantly being absorbed by him. Outside, the face of the mentor in charge changed slightly, and he said in a low voice, "Deanly, have you made it clear to him?" Old Man Li said nothing. He had forgotten one thing. Of course, it wasn't something too important. There was no need for it to be too stable the first time he built a heavenly bridge that connected the inside and the outside. It was fine as long as it could form a passageway on the whole. It would not collapse, and he could slowly reinforce it in the future. However, this kid Fong Ping's vitality was almost depleted, and he was still absorbing the vitality force from the vitality pool. Up until now, not a single passageway had been constructed. They were probably reinforcing it, right? "I'm fine." Old Man Li said lightly. The instructor in charge was close to tears. He said helplessly, "This time this rank 5 must die." "So be it. Sigh." The teacher in charge sighed. "You make it sound so easy. If he dies, it will be troublesome." Right now, not even one passageway had been built successfully. If this went on, the rank 5 would be exhausted to death very soon. So difficult. How did the others do it? Fong Ping was also a little confused. His vitality was more than 1,400 calories. Coupled with the absorption of the vitality pool's vitality force, his speed was also extremely fast. However, even he found it so difficult. Could it be that the others were crazily popping pills and eating rank 3 vitality pills as if they were rice? Those casual martial artists don't have qi and blood pools. They can't even replenish themselves with pills, can they? That's not right. Even some martial arts universities don't have vitality pools. Could these people be more talented than me? Bullshit. Fong Ping did not understand. His own vitality had been depleted by 1,300 calories. He did not count how much the vitality pool had replenished, but he had a general idea that it had replenished at least 600 to 700 cal. With 2,000 calories of vitality, not even one channel could be stabilized. Other peak rank 3 martial artists had 1,000 cal vitality upper limit. Consuming 900 calories at most and taking a few pills in such a short time would be considered impressive if they could recover a few hundred cal. A vitality of more than 1,000 cal was successfully built. Why couldn't he? This is too strange. Could it have something to do with my powerful physique? Although Fong Ping did not understand, seeing that the vitality pool's replenishment rate could not keep up with the rate of consumption, he could only start converting his wealth points. Outside, when he saw Fong Ping's vitality flowing endlessly, the expression in the instructor's eyes changed. He said in a low voice, "The vitality pool. In order to maintain the purity of the vitality force, it prevents energy particles from permeating it." Old Man Li let out a soft humph and said lightly, "So what?" Isolating the infiltration of the energy particles was actually very meaningful. Did Fong Ping's vitality replenishment come from nothing? The fact that he absorbed the vitality force so quickly could be explained and understood. However, after absorbing the vitality pool's vitality, he could still maintain his own vitality force, unless it was supplied by himself. However, there was a limit to a human's recovery ability. Even if he recovered, he would still need energy particles to replenish it. In other words, this vitality really came from nothing. Old Man Li then said, "His bone marrow is like mercury." Maybe it's because he absorbed energy particles previously and stored them in his body. Grandmaster-level powerhouses can maintain combat strength even when energy is isolated. This is all because of their own reserves. We haven't reached Grandmaster yet, so it's normal that we can't understand this. The instructor in charge did not say anything else. Could Fong Ping really do it? It was hard to believe. However, since Old Man Li had given such an explanation, you had to believe it whether you wanted to or not. Moreover, Fong Ping had gone to the Research Institute 2 days ago and provided some blood, hair, and some bone powder to the institute. At this time, the results of the research were not out yet. They could only assume that Fong Ping's brain had mutated. In fact, the instructor in charge believed that Fong Ping's brain had mutated. The human body was the most complicated. Mentality was the embodiment of complexity. Where did mentality recovery come from? Mentality did not need to extract energy particles to recover. Grandmaster level powerhouses mentality consumption seemed to be recovering naturally. This could not be explained. Perhaps it was a higher dimensional energy that humans had not discovered. Fong Ping's ability to create something out of nothing was similar to mentality recovery. Old Man Li was actually also suspicious. He was even sure that Fong Ping's brain had indeed mutated. His mentality had also recovered extremely quickly last time. Brain mutation, he mumbled in his heart. This time, unless he really cut Fong Ping's brain open and studied it, otherwise, he would not be able to find out anything. He did not have any hope in the Research Institute. Whatever, let him be. I hope it won't develop in a bad direction in the end. Old Man Li shook his head lightly. Mutation might not be a good thing. At the same time, Fong Ping chose to break through. The Alloy House's door opened in Magic City catacombs. Lu Fengru and the others stepped out one after another. As soon as they stepped out, they heard a familiar voice. Using soft shampoo. That's how confident you are. Lu Fengru was slightly stunned. She tilted her head and glanced at the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper was currently leaning against a chair. There was a computer on the empty table in front of him. When they were bored, they would also watch movies and television dramas. Just like back then, when Fong Ping and the others participated in the championship, these people would also choose to watch the fun. Lu Fengru tilted her head slightly and glanced at the screen. On the screen, Fong Ping was flamboyantly fiddling with his short hair, holding a bottle of shampoo in his hand. Seeing this scene, Lu Fengru's expression kept changing. The gatekeeper also knew that they had come out. Seeing the situation, he laughed and said, "Instructor Lu, the advertisement that your student filmed is not bad. It's quite interesting. Right, there's something else. It's quite funny. It's much more interesting than those television dramas." Lu Fengru looked at him for a while. After a while, she said faintly, "You knew that I would come out, so you purposely played it for me to see." "Ha ha ha, yes. I just wanted to share my happiness with everyone. The catacombs has finally ended. It's not good to be too depressed. It's easy to make us depressed. This kid is interesting. Look at the advertisement that he filmed. I'm not depressed at all now." "What advertisement?" Tang Feng, who had just walked out, still had a strong smell of blood on his body. He asked casually. The gatekeeper seemed to be showing off. He picked up the computer and showed it to him. He chuckled and said, "I'm planning to make a small collection. Later, I'll hang a small TV on the mission display in the hall to make everyone happy. It's too quiet here every day. It's too dead. Sigh, martial artists are getting more and more depressed now. I showed it to the soldiers in the military department this morning. They were quite happy watching it. Haha." Lu Fengru smiled without saying anything. She walked away. She had just taken a few steps when the computer in the gatekeeper's hand suddenly shattered. The gatekeeper's expression changed slightly. The expressions of Tang Feng and the others also changed. The gatekeeper's expression was slightly shocked. A peak rank, 6 martial artist mentality that could move some items was considered top-notch. As for Lu Fengru, she directly shattered his computer. Tang Feng's expression kept changing. He was a little distracted. Lu Fengru's mentality had become stronger. If this went on, she would not be far from being able to release her mentality completely. At least 800 hertz. Tang Feng mumbled. The expressions of the other instructors beside him changed. 800 hertz! She can officially release her mentality at 1000 hertz. Doesn't that mean, even if she doesn't have the unity of essence, spirit, and soul to break through the barrier once her mentality reaches 1000 hertz, she can also forcefully break through the high rank barrier? The instructors did not know whether to be happy or worried. The vice-chancellor died in battle. MCMAU had one less grandmaster. Now, they could not even guard the school. They had no choice but to kill some rank 6 catacombs martial artists to prevent trouble. If there was one more grandmaster, then this would not be necessary. Lu Fengru breaking through to grandmaster was a good thing for MCMAU. In other words, anyone breaking through to grandmaster was a good thing for mankind. However, Tang Feng exhaled softly. He looked at Lu Fengru, who had gone far away, and said in a low voice, "This time that guy from Skygate City has fought with Guardian Wu many times." Lu Fengru should have seen the gap between them. She probably won't act rashly. This is a good thing. In the past few days in the catacombs, because 7 of Skygate City's high ranks were killed, the city lord went crazy and fought with the southern guardian who had been guarding the place. Both sides had fought more than 10 times. Lu Fengru was also there. She had seen the gap between them. She might not continue to seek revenge with the determination to die. I hope so, the few instructors murmured to themselves. As long as Lu Fengru did not court death, it would be MCMAU's blessing if she became a grandmaster. However, looking at the current situation, even if she wanted to break through, it would take at least 1 or 2 years. After talking about Lu Fengru, Tang Feng suddenly thought of Fang Ping. He snorted softly and said, "What is Fang Ping doing now?" The gatekeeper did not think much of it. He laughed and said, "This kid is quite famous now. First in rank 3, invincible among rank 3. He's filming a few advertisements and having some fun. Why care so much? For people like us, if there's wine today, we'll get drunk today. Who knows if there's a tomorrow? Lion Tang, don't make too many rules. It's so boring. First in rank 3? Tang Feng was stunned. Luo Yichuan, who was still bleeding, laughed and said, "Really? That kid is first?" "Really. It happened a few days ago. You guys weren't here. This kid is quite interesting. He's not as old-fashioned as you guys. I quite like him. Why don't you send him over to keep me company and guard the door together?" Luo Yichuan chuckled and said, "Forget it. You let him guard the door. In a few days, we'll probably have to pay a fee to enter the catacombs." Everyone was stunned for a moment before they burst into laughter. The gatekeeper also laughed and said, "That can't be." Tang Feng snorted disdainfully. "Don't doubt me. Maybe if the catacombs humans want to come out, he'll have to stop them and charge them a fee. Ha ha ha. If he really had that kind of strength, he would be more than happy to do so. What kind of ability did he have to be to dare to collect toll fees from catacombs martial artists? If the catacombs martial artists were to charge out, there would be no shortage of rank 9 martial artists. If Fang Ping dared to charge a rank 9 powerhouse, it would mean that he was much stronger than the other party. Even Commander Li might not be able to collect a toll. Everyone roared with laughter again. The death of their comrades and the sacrifice of their friends seemed to have been forgotten at this moment. Let him keep the sadness in his heart. Other than affecting others and affecting morale, what else could they do? As for Lu Fengru, who had gone first, everyone had forgotten about her. This half-grandmaster powerhouse should be going to deal with Fang Ping now, right? Tang Feng was gloating a little. It would be best if he could beat the kid up. Mother ***, he had just come out of the catacombs, and he was already infuriated by this kid. An invincible rank 3 powerhouse went to shoot a small advertisement. He did not even know what to say. At this moment, Fang Ping naturally did not know that Lu Fengru had returned. He also did not know that everyone would tease him, saying that he would block the passageway entrance to collect fees. If Fang Ping knew, he would definitely complain about it. If he was not invincible, He would not dare to collect fees. He would not even have time to run. However, when the day came when the catacombs were pacified and this world was conquered, Fang Ping felt that this suggestion could be considered. At this moment, Fang Ping was still building the Celestial Bridge. After putting in close to 4,000 calories of vitality, the heart bridge was gradually stabilized. Doesn't this mean that I need 20,000 calories of vitality? Fang Ping groaned inwardly. The supply of vitality from the vitality pool was getting lesser and lesser. He would die if he could only supply a total of 2,000 to 3,000 cal. In this case, he would need to spend at least 20 million wealth points to complete it. Forget it. 20 to 30 million is enough to let me pass the early stage. I've earned it. After comforting himself for a while, Fang Ping started building the liver bridge. When he started building the liver bridge, both Old Man Li and the instructor outside let out a gasp of surprise. The speed of vitality absorption is even faster. This kid, did he stabilize the Celestial Bridge? I think so. He's a little too much of a genius. Maybe it won't be long before he can start honing his 5 viscera. The instructor in charge sighed repeatedly. Comparisons were odious. Old Man Li did not care about this. Instead, he rubbed his chin and muttered, "He's already so strong. Are there any students in MCMAU who can restrain him?" Without anyone to suppress Fang Ping, he would turn the world upside down. Before this, Zhang Yu and the others could suppress Fang Ping. If they could not suppress him anymore, this kid's strength could even be compared to some instructors. Would he not turn MCMAU upside down? Old Man Li felt that he was not worrying for no reason. This kid wasn't too honest. Just look at the things he had done. Selling pills for a profit, establishing a society, tricking people into doing free work, setting up a loan platform, provoking the president of the Martial Arts Society. All of these were not things that an honest student could do. Who will restrain him? Old Man Li racked his brains. Qin Wenlong? Zhang Yu? Qin Fengqing? None of them were reliable. He used to count on Xia Lei, but now it was difficult. Xia Lei was still lacking a little to achieve rank 4. However, it would not be long. If everything went smoothly, Xia Lei might achieve rank for when junior year started. It all depended on Xia Lei's decision. Don't tell me I can only rely on the instructors to suppress him if he causes trouble in the future? Old Man Li pinched his beard, slightly dissatisfied. Instructors suppressing students was a sign of the school's incompetence. Mother asterisk her. The MCMAU students are getting more and more useless every year. There's not even a rank 5. Old Man Li cursed. The instructor in charge beside him twitched his mouth. Sorry, I'm only a peak rank 5-2. I always felt that Dean Li was scolding me indirectly. Chapter 281. Qi and Blood Pool. With his first experience, Fang Ping quickly began to build the second Celestial Bridge. The heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys were also known as the divine organs. The 5 organs could store the spirit. By connecting the inside and outside and building 5 celestial bridges, martial artists could officially step into the spiritual realm. Middle-ranked martial artists could cultivate their own spirit. Of course, cultivating one's own spirit usually required one to reach peak rank 6. The main reason was that one's mentality was too weak. Those with strong mentality could also cultivate their spirit at rank 4. However, such a situation was extremely rare. When the first celestial bridge was built successfully, Fang Ping sensed that his mentality had become more active and stronger. With the bridge of the 5 viscera built, his spirit began to strengthen. The second celestial bridge was the liver bridge. The bridge of the heart was successfully built for the first time, but the energy channel was not completely stable yet. There was not much energy flowing through it, but there was no sign of rejection. Once the energy passageway was stabilized, building a celestial bridge next to it would have to consider the rejection of the heart bridge and the shaking of the energy radiation. Fang Ping continued to expend large amounts of wealth to produce vitality, rapidly outlining the prototype of the bridge. Half an hour later, Fang Ping's body was already entangled by blood qi. It was as if a layer of blood cocoon had appeared on the surface of his body, trapping him within it. At this moment, outside the vitality pool, it was not just Old Man Li and Old Man Li. Lu Fengru stood with her arms crossed and said faintly, "Can 5 celestial bridges be built successfully in one go?" If I remember correctly, Xue Li only managed to build 3 bridges in one go before he lost both his energy and spirit. Xue Li, a top-notch powerhouse who had just graduated this year, a rank 5 student. Now he had graduated and joined the Shanghai Department of Investigation Services as the deputy director. Shanghai was the economic center of China. There were many grandmasters there, including the governor of Shanghai, the commander of the Shanghai Military Region, the director of the Shanghai Education Department, and the director of the Shanghai Department of Investigation Services. As the deputy director of Shanghai's Department of Investigation Services, he was comparable to the deputy governor of Nanjiang and other provinces. Old Man Li chuckled. "Just try it. If it really fails, there's still the viscera shielding pill to protect your organs. You'll just need to rest for a few more days." Compared to directly stepping into middle stage rank, for if one's internal organs were injured, the worst that could happen was to take one more resurrection pill. They would not die. As long as there was a glimmer of hope, no one would hesitate to choose. Instead, she looked at Old Man Li. Her eyes were sharp as she asked, "Did you instigate him to shoot those commercials?" Old Man Li's expression stiffened. "What does it have to do with me? I'll remember this debt on your head." Old Man Li almost cursed out loud. Was it my fault again? The instructor in charge at the side kept a straight face, forcing himself not to laugh. Right now, there were 2 people here, both peak rank 6. One was the school's deputy dean. The other was the biggest thorn in the school's instructor's side. He could not laugh. If he did, he would be beaten to death. Old Man Li snorted and said nothing more. Inside the room, the blood cocoon on Fang Ping's body was getting thicker and thicker, almost wrapping him up entirely. After a moment, Lu Fengru suddenly said, 3! Before Old Man Li could reply, the instructor in charge checked the instrument outside the door and sighed softly. "His heart has collapsed." It was as if Lu Fengru and Yi Zichen did not hear anything. The instructor's face stiffened again. He said dryly, "The rank 5 martial artist responsible for supplying energy is dead." The 2 of them still did not reply. "Dean Li, Instructor Lu, so what if he's dead?" "I'm not deaf." Old Man Li replied impatiently. He said exasperatedly, "Why are you so long-winded? So what if a rank 5 is dead? What the F*CK is a rank 5. The instructor's face darkened. "I'm a rank 5. Old man, can you not say these things in front of me?" However, compared to a peak rank 6 powerhouse, a rank 5 was indeed nothing. A peak rank 6 powerhouses, Sanjiao Gate, had already been closed. The human body formed its own circulation. Half of a golden body was formed and combat strength was sustained. Old Man Li's mentality was damaged. He, a peak rank 6, was still all right. He was not considered too strong, and he had major flaws. If he encountered a grandmaster with strong mentality or even a peak rank 6 of the same rank, he might be severely injured in an instant due to insufficient mentality. However, a peak rank 6 like Lu Fengru, compared to a typical middle-rank martial artist, was really too far apart. She had almost no flaws, even if her head was already showing signs of turning into a golden body. The 2 peak rank 6 powerhouses did not care. The instructor in charge could only shut up. Everyone continued to wait. Lu Fengru suddenly said, "Turn off the energy sealing barrier." The instructor in charge immediately started working. The walls in the vitality pool floated slightly, as if an invisible membrane had disappeared. The moment the membrane disappeared, Energy particles in the surroundings began to rapidly converge toward the empty area. As for Fong Ping, he quickly began to capture, or rather, capture was not suitable. Energy particles automatically converged toward his body. Seeing this, Lu Fengru raised her eyebrows slightly. The celestial bridge has stabilized. It's starting to actively absorb energy particles. This was a characteristic of a middle-ranked martial artist. Energy particles were automatically attracted by the celestial bridge, actively honing the internal organs and flesh. It was not too obvious on Earth. In places with abundant energy in the catacombs, martial artists improved very quickly. Among the 3 people present, the weakest was a peak rank 5. Lu Fengru, who had mentality, could almost see the movement of energy particles. Although Old Man Li and the instructor in charge could not see it, they could clearly sense this change. Middle-rank powerhouses could actually sense the strength of energy. Looking at this speed, the stability of his celestial bridge is not low. Maybe after some time to adapt, he can start honing his 5 organs. Old Man Li laughed. Before the end of the year, he might be able to achieve upper stage rank 4. Before the end of the year, Fong Ping would only be in the first semester of his sophomore year. If things went smoothly, he would finish honing his 5 organs in the second semester of his sophomore year and achieve peak rank 4. If he spent a year or a year and a half in his junior year, he might be able to achieve peak rank 5. Before he graduated in his senior year, he might really achieve rank 6. As for the few rank 5 students who had graduated before, they were all beginners. They were still far from rank 6. Lu Fengru did not utter a word. Old Man Li said again, his bone marrow is complete and his mentality is not weak. After achieving rank 7, as long as his skull is honed, he will soon become a rank 8 golden body powerhouse. As for rank 9, it might not take many years. That day, you asked him to help you kill Sky Gate City Lord. I think your idea is not bad. There is also hope of realizing it. Compared to yourself, I think this kid has a higher chance. Lu Fengru was silent. You should know the difference between rank 7 and rank 9. If you go, you will be courting death. If your student avenges you, I think it will be a good story. Enough. I don't need you to teach me. Lu Fengru let out a soft humph. Old Man Li sighed and said in a low voice, "This little girl is getting cocky now." Back in the day, Lu Fengru's expression was a little dark. Old Man Li was not much older than her, but strictly speaking, Old Man Li was half a senior to her. Old Man Li was the vice-chancellor's student. Lu Fengru was not entirely his, but Lu Fengru had also graduated from MCMAU, and the vice-chancellor had taught her for a period of time. When swordsman longevity became famous, Lu Fengru was indeed not that old. Back then, she had also admired him as a child. However, her daughter had followed Wu Quishan and Li Chongqing into the catacombs. According to her original plan, these were MCMAU's most elite instructors. Her daughter's safety was absolutely guaranteed. Who knew that an accident would happen? After that, Lu Fengru was not very polite to Li Chongqing. Although she did not cause trouble for him, she did not give him a good look when she saw him. Now that Li Chongqing had spoken in such a tone, Lu Fengru's expression darkened, but she did not refute. After a moment, she said, "He's a rank 3 to protect his path. Sorry to trouble you." "Don't mention it." Old Man Li grinned. "I'm still waiting for this kid to become a grandmaster and take care of a few of my old enemies. I'm just afraid that you won't be able to see it." Lu Fengru replied mildly. Old Man Li smiled again. "Then tell me during the holidays. When are you leaving?" "Nanjiang's catacombs are opening. You'll be sending yourself to your death if you go, idiot." Old Man Li grinned. "It's the same if I die sooner or later. I'm not like you, who still has something to work towards. As for me, I don't have anything to work towards. If it weren't for the fact that the old man didn't let me go this time, I would have left already." As Old Man Li said that, He sounded slightly sorrowful. Don't hate anymore. Those people back then are almost all dead. The 12 people who came out alive have all died in the past few years. Last year, other than Old Wu and me, Nan Wushang was still alive. During the trip to Tiannan's catacombs, Nan Wushang died too. They're all dead. Once I die, it's your family's business. There's nothing to hate anymore. Lu Fengru's expression did not change. Old Man Li chuckled. You're still so headstrong and prideful. I hope Old Wu can live a little longer. He's already dead. You don't even have someone to hate anymore. As for me, I'm really afraid that you'll collapse just like that. Shut up! Lu Fengru shouted coldly. Who do you think you are? Do you think you're worth my hatred? It's better if you're all dead. Little girl, you're still so stubborn. I'm afraid that if I die, you'll hide and cry for a few days, Old Man Li chuckled. When Nan Wushang died, you secretly went to watch, didn't you? Did you cry? Get lost. Lu Fengru was furious. Her mentality erupted instantly, shaking Old Man Li so much that he froze on the spot. Right after that, Lu Fengru kicked him until he disappeared without a trace. The instructor in charge looked down and did not move an inch. It was as if he had become a wooden man. He did not hear or see anything. After a while, the instructor in charge seemed to have sobered up. He said in a normal tone, Instructor Lu, I'll go do something else first. Please take care of things here. Lu Fengru did not say anything. The instructor in charge did not waste any more time either. He turned around and left. He was afraid that if he stayed any longer, he would really be hacked to death. MCMAU today was becoming more and more abnormal. Even peak rank, 5 instructors were in danger. The instructor in charge sighed in his heart. With the old vice-chancellor gone, these troublemakers were hard to suppress. Would vice-chancellor Wu be able to keep things under control? Sometimes being strong did not mean being able to keep things under control. Fang Ping, who was indoors, naturally did not know these things. The 3rd celestial bridge was built successfully. For hours after entering the room, the 4th bridge was built successfully. The construction of the 5th celestial bridge was more difficult than the previous ones. The first 4 passageways began to produce a weak sense of repulsion. The passageways that were built were repelled a few times. The illusory bridge shook continuously and collapsed after a while. Fang Ping tried a few times. He kept injecting vitality. His mentality no longer captured energy particles. Instead, he began to suppress and soothe the other passageways. After a few tries, the last illusory bridge finally appeared. When the 5th bridge appeared, Fang Ping's body trembled. His internal organs began to absorb the drifting energy particles rapidly. His vitality began to recover rapidly. Middle stage rank for martial artists can already actively absorb energy particles and quickly recover their vitality. Fang Ping recalled the martial artists he met. In the catacombs, most of the ones he killed were early stage rank 4. He did not have a strong feeling about this. The middle stage rank 4's battle endurance seemed to be stronger than the others. Fang Ping and Qin Fengqing had wasted a lot of time on the other party, but the other party still maintained a strong combat power. No wonder rank 6 powerhouses' vitality is almost limitless. Middle stage rank 4 can actively absorb drifting energy particles. What about peak rank 6 powerhouses? After sealing off the Sanjiao gate, vitality will no longer overflow. In addition, mentality is strong enough to actively absorb energy particles. With so many layers of protection, peak rank 6 powerhouses should be stronger than I expected. Fang Ping had a vague judgment in his heart. Fighting a peak rank 6 powerhouse might be more difficult than he imagined. To kill a peak rank 6 powerhouse, he either had to hit the vital head and kill him in one hit, or he had to rely on mentality to crush him. Exhausting the other party to death would probably be a strenuous task. While thinking about this, Fong Ping did not delay the stabilization of the fifth passageway. After another half an hour, the 5 transparent passageways with a hint of blood in them gradually stabilized, no longer shaking. As for Fong Ping, he only felt that his internal organs were constantly shaking slightly. Some of the impurities in his body seemed to be falling off. The surface of his skin also seemed to be forming scabs. A thick layer of jet-black blood stains solidified on the surface of his body, wrapping Fong Ping's entire person inside. It's not considered a rebirth yet, but there's already a trend. Forging a golden body. The 3 lower ranks and the 3 middle ranks were actually all a process of forging a golden body. At this moment, Fong Ping's path of cultivation was gradually becoming clearer. The human body was the foundation of martial arts. Practicing martial arts was actually not the pursuit of external strength, but the pursuit of the strength of the human body, breaking through one limit after another. In other words, it was also completing the process of life evolution. When humans reach rank 8 and complete the transformation of the human body, perhaps they really can't be called humans anymore. Rank 8, maybe it's a new beginning. A rank 8 golden body powerhouse had already completed the transformation of the human body. In what way was a rank 9 powerhouse stronger than a rank 8 powerhouse? Fong Ping's heart was slightly puzzled. He could already see and touch the path from rank 1 to rank 8. However, the path to rank 9 was still blank. It's still early. Let's not worry about this for now. Fong Ping did not think about it anymore. He did not exit the vitality pool either. Instead, he observed his changes. Wealth, 18 million vitality, 820 calories, 1,550 calories plus. Mentality, for 110 hertz, 619 hertz plus. Bone honing, 177 bones, 100%, 29 bones, 30% plus. His wealth was slightly more than expected. He had spent more than 23 million. This was because Fong Ping could also recover his vitality quickly in the later stages, plus the supply from the vitality pool. Otherwise, he would have spent at least 30 million wealth. How can a typical rank 3 martial artist achieve 30,000 calories vitality? Building 5 celestial bridges at the same time, unless his family has a mine. Whoever had an energy mine and an open supply of cultivationating energy stones might be able to do it. Or the vitality pool could allow high-ranked powerhouses to continuously supply vitality. Otherwise, building 5 celestial bridges at the same time was not something Fong Ping could do. As for himself, he was a special case. Geniuses were different. My vitality limit hasn't increased by much. It's the same for my mentality too. However, while Fong Ping was watching, his vitality limit increased from 1,550 calories to 1,551 calories. It was still rising. That's right. My vitality force and energy particles are being absorbed by my internal organs to refine them. This is a long-term process. During this process, my body keeps getting stronger. During this time, even if I don't actively cultivate, the upper limit of my vitality force will still increase rapidly. Fong Ping finally experienced the benefits of building a celestial bridge successfully. His physique was actively becoming stronger. Today, he could be considered to have entered middle stage rank 4. However, because he had crossed the early stage, the transformation time was still short. His physique and vitality might not be stronger than other middle stage rank for martial artists. Others progressed step by step and had already completed the transformation and honing in this process. However, there's still a lot of room for improvement. Other people's water bottles are already filled to the brim. I'm just starting to fill them up. I'm getting stronger every day, while they can only wait to break through to the next rank. Very good. Middle stage rank 4. Fong Ping was a little happy. Initially, he only thought that breaking through to rank 4 would be enough. Once he entered the middle ranks, he would be in the same rank as Old Wong and the others. He did not expect that he would actually enter middle stage rank for directly. He was only one step away from Old Wong. It's only been a year. At this moment, he had been practicing martial arts for a year and 4 months. From a completely ordinary person, he was about to catch up to peak rank Tu Wang Jinyang. Soon. Maybe I can surpass him very soon. Li Han Song Yao Cheng Jun Chen Wenlong. I will surpass all these people of the same generation. Maybe I should change my target to someone else. For example, Brother Ma? Fang Ping suddenly felt that he should change his target to someone else. How could someone of the same generation be his target? In less than a year, he would be rank 4. In 2 years, he might be rank 8. If there was a rank 12, he might be rank 12 in 3 years. While he was daydreaming, he suddenly heard a cold shout beside his ear. Still not coming out? Are you preparing to go into closed-door seclusion? Fang Ping's spirit was shaken. He stood up immediately. The blood cocoon outside his body collapsed. The solidified blood cocoon fell off piece by piece. Even his clothes were torn to shreds. Fang Ping's eyes and hands were sharp. He took off his leather armor in an instant and put it on like a pair of pants. He let out a long sigh of relief. Lu Fengru sneered. As she turned around and walked away, she said mildly, "You dared to shoot such a shameful advertisement. Why are you afraid of this?" Fang Ping looked embarrassed. He did not even take off his pants when he was shooting the advertisement. How was it shameful? Maybe I should buy a pair of leather underpants. Fang Ping's imagination ran wild. In the future, if he were to tear his clothes at the drop of a hat, forget about his upper body. He still had to take care of his lower body. In the past, when he bought a pair of shoes worth 1,000,000 yuan, he found it unbelievable. Chapter 282. After exiting the vitality pool, Fang Ping was clad in a set of black martial arts attire. The instructor in charge of the vitality pool was much better than Song Yingji, who was in charge of the energy room. He had given it to Fang Ping for free and did not charge anything. Perhaps he was afraid that Fang Ping would overtake him and settle the score with him. Outside the blood and qi pool, Lu Fengru stood at the door and waited. Old man Li was nowhere to be seen. Fang Ping stepped out and asked hurriedly, "Teacher, when did you come back?" "Just now." "How's the catacombs now?" As for East Sunflower City, Lu Fengru did not hide anything this time. She said directly, "Skygate City attacked a few times, but they were defeated. We killed more than 50,000 of their 200,000 soldiers." On the martial artist side, 7 high ranks had died in battle, which was a loss of more than half. There were also a few high ranks who were injured. That bastard had also been injured by Guardian Wu. Ever since East Sunflower City had retreated for the first time, they hadn't sent out any more troops. If nothing goes wrong, Skygate City might have to move. Migration? They've lost half of their high-ranked powerhouses. Almost everyone is injured. They're so close to Hope City. Aren't they afraid that we'll kill a few more of their high-ranked powerhouses? Lu Fengru laughed coldly and said, "It's not that Sino Nation is powerless to destroy him. It's just that they're unwilling to do so. They don't want any unforeseen events to happen. But now that East Sunflower City has sent troops, we have a new opponent in Magic City's catacombs. Skygate City is no longer as important. What about the other 11 cities? Are there any movements?" "Not yet." Lu Fengru shook her head. Fang Ping hesitated for a moment before asking, "On our side, they've also suffered heavy casualties. A large number of experts from the military have fallen this time." Lu Fengru's tone was calm. She paused for a moment before continuing. "On MCMAU's side, a large number of instructors have also fallen. Today, there are less than 400 middle-ranked instructors in MCMAU. In reality, there are only 380 of them. At the catacombs, there were still more than 50 instructors left to guard the place. There were also more than 30 people guarding MCMAU's various industries. Some of the instructors were carrying out missions in various places after school started. There were less than 300 middle-ranked instructors in the school, and the number of students is close to 7,000. There were less than 300 teachers in the school, which meant that each of them had to teach at least 20 students. In recent years, the number of tutors in the school was probably the lowest. Lu Fengru did not continue talking about this. She said as they walked, "In 2 days, Wu Quishan and the others will return to the school. Wu Quishan will take over as the vice-chancellor, and Huang Jing will take over as the vice-chancellor. The school will probably summon the students back in advance. What do you think?" Fang Ping smiled bitterly. "Instructor, this is the Grandmaster's business. What opinions can I have? I want to be the vice-chancellor myself, but it's impossible." Lu Fengru stopped in her tracks, as if she was hesitating if she should kick him to death. "What I'm saying is, in this phase where the old and the new are alternating, learn to fight for your own interests. Didn't you want to challenge Zhang Yu?" Zhang Yu had the intention to relinquish his position as president of the Martial Arts Society, but it was rumored that his preferred candidate was Chen Wenlong. However, Chen Wenlong was the same as him. They were both students who were about to enter their senior year, and they were not in school for a long period of time. As for Chen Wenlong taking over the position of president of the Martial Arts Society, I'm afraid some of the instructors will not agree. What I'm trying to say is that you can try to fight for it. Once you become the president of the Martial Arts Society, you'll have a greater say in MCMAU. You want me to fight for power? Wrong. I want you to fight for resources. Lu Fengru said calmly, "It's not just resources. The Martial Arts Society is said to be co-managing the school with the school leaders. It's an important part of the school." Zhang Yu was a soft-hearted person, so under his management, the Martial Arts Society was not strong. In reality, the power of the Martial Arts Society is greater than you think. You can even impeach the school leaders and communicate directly with the Ministry of Education. You know Wang Jinyang. He's in NMAU. What do you think? Do you think it's purely because he's a rank 4? Wrong. It's because he's the president of the Martial Arts Society that many people support the reform of NMAU. Fang Ping said in surprise, "The vice-chancellor and the others are grandmasters. The Martial Arts Society only has a few rank 3 and 4 students. However, the school is basically made up of these rank 3 and 4 students. As the leader of the students, you don't just represent yourself, but the entire school. MCMAU hasn't reached the point of decline yet. So what if you're a grandmaster? There are hundreds of grandmasters in Sino Nation. There are also some idle grandmasters. Wu Quishan doesn't want to be the vice-chancellor, but there are plenty of grandmasters who are willing. Of course, we just don't want to. I'm asking you to fight for the position of president of the Martial Arts Society, not to impeach Wu Quishan and the others, but to participate in some school system reforms. People like Wu Quishan and Huang Jing are different from the old vice-chancellor. You don't have to worry about the old vice-chancellor, but don't trust these guys too much." Fang Ping laughed dryly. "Actually, I've thought about fighting for the position of president of the Martial Arts Society, but I've talked to Instructor Li before. He said that the school might not be willing to let me take over. Also, if I take over the position of president of the Martial Arts Society, I might have to give up on the Ping Yuan Club and MCMAU's platform. That was before. Now that you've stepped into middle stage rank 4, the significance is different. Also, I support you, Li Changxing supports you, and Lion Tang supports you. These are all not a problem. MCMAU has 3 high grandmasters now, but there are only 8 peak rank, 6 martial artists in total. Other than the 3 of us, the deans of the other 3 schools are all peak rank 6. Of the other 2, one is stationed in the catacombs, and the last is Luo Yichuan. Luo Yichuan still thinks highly of you. Convince him and 4 peak rank, 6 martial artists to support you. Becoming the president of the Martial Arts Society is not a big problem." Fang Ping muttered, Big Lion might not be willing. Then you'll beat Zhao Lei and Yang Xiaoman up every day. Fang Ping felt awkward. This was not appropriate, was it? Lu Fengru was a mentor after all. How could she encourage her students to do such a thing? It was not right. Lu Fengru continued. Actually, apart from this, there's another reason why I asked you to fight for the position of Martial Arts Society president. Go ahead. In MCMAU, other than the Vitality Pool and Energy Room where you students cultivate, there's also a cultivation ground. Usually it's where instructors cultivate. It's called the Pressure Room or the Mentality Training Room. Of course, it was very dangerous. The pressure chamber was constructed using a high-ranked powerhouse's heart, core, and brain. It simulated a high-ranked powerhouse's mentality impact. Rank 4 and 5 martial artists rarely went in. Rank 6 martial artists usually went there to train in order to feel their mentality. Except for me. Lu Fengru snorted coldly. MCMAU's pressure room is not open to me. This is a decision made by the High Grandmasters. However, as long as you become the president of the Martial Arts Society, you can raise an objection and vote again to decide. In the university, the only people who had the right to object were the Grandmasters, the deans of the 4 major academies, and the president of the Martial Arts Society. The few deans were almost all the old vice-chancellor students. That's why I've looked for them all these years, but it was useless. However, the situation has changed now. The old vice-chancellor died in battle. I'm afraid the other people's thoughts have changed too. Some people might be willing to have another grandmaster. However, Wu Quishan is in charge of the university. Even if they have such thoughts, they probably won't bring it up. You're different. You're my student. It's only right for you to bring it up. When the time comes, the university will hold a meeting and vote anonymously. If nothing goes wrong, I should be unbanned. Fang Ping was speechless. Instructor, are you grounded because you want to snatch those heart cores and brain cores? Bullsh *T. Lu Fengru swore and said exasperatedly, They're afraid that I'll become a grandmaster. These people are extremely stupid. Can I become a grandmaster after entering the pressure room? Of course not. However, sensing these powerhouses' mentality pressure for a long time is beneficial for mentality breakthroughs. Fang Ping nodded slightly. That's quite unfair. They grounded you. That's too much of a bully. Oh, right, instructor. Are the hearts of high-ranked powerhouses expensive? Lu Fengru suddenly looked at him. After a while, she said, I'm not even thinking about these things. Do you have a death wish? Fang Ping said sheepishly, I was just asking. Don't think too much. President of the Martial Arts Society, are you interested in fighting for it? Are you giving up on the Ping Yuan Club? No need. Of course I'm interested. Fang Ping chuckled. Is it enough as long as I win against Zhang Yu? If I win against Zhang Yu, it'll be an opportunity. I'll ask Li Changsheng and the university to bring it up. What about Chen Wenlong? Chen Wenlong is about to enter his senior year. He's currently training in the military department. He probably won't participate. Fang Ping nodded and said in high spirits, That's not a problem. I'll challenge Zhang Yu after I get used to it for 2 days. There's no rush. Wait for Wu Quishan and the others to come back and gather the students to return early. When he's done with the vice-chancellor's handover, you can challenge Zhang Yu in front of all the students. Fang Ping said with a bitter face, Wouldn't that be a slap in the face? With the grandmasters around, I'm a little. Lu Fengru reprimanded him. What are you afraid of? Do you think they'll attack you? As long as you gain the students' recognition of your strength and let the instructors see your strength, Wu Quishan won't dare to go against the general trend. He needs the support of the people to get rid of MCMAU. After saying that, Lu Fengru continued, You've entered the middle ranks so you can cultivate high-ranked combat techniques. Also, you can continue cultivating pole standing at this point. Do you want to cultivate the flight step or the bodybuilding technique? Think about it yourself. The flight step. Fang Ping did not hesitate. Lu Fengru frowned slightly. Why? The bodybuilding technique is more beneficial to improving your combat strength. In the past, Fang Ping would have thought that the bodybuilding technique was not bad. Now, however, he could increase his vitality. As his vitality increased, his physique would also become stronger. In that case, the cultivation of the bodybuilding technique would become dispensable. As long as he had enough wealth, Fang Ping felt that his physique could be as strong as a golden body. At this time, of course, he had to cultivate the more eye-catching flight step. Of course, it was not just about being eye-catching. Cultivating the flight step would make it easier to run away. Although Fang Ping could step on the air now, it was only for a short period of time, and he could not fly too high. The Earth's gravity still interfered greatly, and he would soon fall. Once he mastered the flight step, and he had enough vitality, he could really fly in the air. When that time came, powerhouses who did not cultivate the flight step would not be able to hit him. Even if he cultivated it and ran in the air, if the other party's vitality was not strong enough, the chances of catching up to Fang Ping would not be high. The speed of flying in the air might not be faster than on the ground, but the key was convenience. If Fang Ping had mastered the flight step and used it to run, the rank 6 martial artist who was chasing him might not have been able to catch up to him. Even if he chased him on the ground, Fang Ping could choose a place with obstacles to escape to. It was still the same premise. If he had enough wealth, he could tire that rank 6 martial artist to death. Lu Fengru frowned slightly, but she did not say much. She said, "Come to my place when you get back. I can teach you the flight step. Also, pick 1 or 2 high-ranked combat techniques." Instructor, is there a big difference between high-ranked and middle-ranked combat techniques? I've said it before. The cultivation of combat techniques depends on the degree of mastery, not the level of one's own rank. Lu Fengru continued, "Of course, there is a difference between high-ranked and middle-ranked. In summary, there are 2 characteristics. First, offensive vitality, release techniques." Fang Ping's gaze flickered. It's equivalent to an additional long-range attack, and not just a simple close-range attack? You can understand it that way. Lu Fengru continued. Second, penetrating power. Penetrating power? Fang Ping looked slightly doubtful. As Lu Fengru walked out, she said, "Didn't you experience it when you fought with martial artists in the lower 3 ranks? When you fight, most of the attacks are on the outside. Did anyone manage to shatter your heart with 1 punch without breaking through your body's surface defense? High-rank combat techniques have this kind of use of penetrating power. Of course, you can also think of it as tremor force. Or, to put it more clearly, you can think of it as hitting a cow through a mountain." Martial artists at this stage can release their vitality, which is also a basic requirement for penetrating power. When you punch, the vitality force penetrates the body surface and explodes in his body. Among the catacombs rank for martial artists I met before, none of them had this kind of martial artist. First, the middle-rank catacombs martial artists you met usually did not cultivate high-ranked combat techniques. Not everyone in the catacombs has the right to cultivate it. Second, they did not cultivate it well enough, so they could not reflect this kind of penetrating power damage. Third, the rank 6 martial artist who chased after you last time actually cultivated high-ranked combat techniques. However, you had the defense of leather armor, and your internal organs were stronger than the average person's. In addition, his cultivation level was not deep enough, so he could not shatter your 5 viscera and 6 bowels. However, didn't you notice that your internal organs were severely injured that time? As for him, the intensity of the vitality he used might not have been that high. Perhaps he was at a critical juncture when the Sanjiao Gate was sealed, so it was not convenient for him to use his full strength. Fang Ping looked confused. The Sanjiao Gate was sealed. Yes, rank 6 martial artists can notice that there are 3 gates in our body. Our essence, spirit, and soul are actually flowing continuously. At this time, what we need to do is to seal these 3 gates so that our essence, spirit, and soul can only enter and not exit, strengthening ourselves. However, when you seal the gates, if you use your full strength, the sealed gates will open. Very few people will use their full strength to kill a rank 3 martial artists like you, wasting their own hard work. Of course, it also has to do with your own strength. Under normal circumstances, even if the gates are sealed, a rank 6 martial artist can still kill a rank 3 easily. This can only mean that the other party is very useless. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that he is only 1 step away from sealing the gates and is unwilling to delay his cultivation because of you. Fang Ping immediately retorted, I think the other party is still very strong. The key is that my strength is also very strong. Denying the strength of the enemy was denying himself. Fang Ping felt that the chipped brow guy was still very, very strong. This also meant that he was also very, very strong. Lu Fengru could not be bothered with him. At this time, she had also walked out of the southern area. Seeing that Fang Ping was still following her, Lu Fengru waved her hand and said, Why are you still following me? Go back and consolidate your realm. Take a shower. You're stinking. Come back later. Fang Ping hurriedly sniffed himself. He did not smell any stench. Seeing that Lu Fengru was walking quickly, Fang Ping hurriedly shouted, Instructor, I'm middle rank now. Don't you have any rewards? Go to school. Middle ranked rewards are 1,000 credits. What about you? I don't have money. Fang Ping almost choked. You're a peak rank 6 martial artist. Aren't you embarrassed to cry poor to me? Give me some. Fang Ping jogged all the way, chasing after her. He always felt that he was at a disadvantage if he did not get some from Lu Fengru. Old Lu was too stingy. After chasing for half a day, he was almost at Lu Fengru's door. Lu Fengru probably could not stand Fang Ping anymore. She threw a bottle of pills at him and quickly closed the door. A loud bang rang out. It was obvious that she was telling Fang Ping to get lost. Fang Ping opened it and immediately cried tears of joy. It had not been easy. He had finally gotten something from old Lu. Resurrection pill. Although the big bottle only contained 1 pill, Fang Ping was about to cry. He knew that crying babies get milk. If he did not chase after her, this pill would be gone too, right? The school needed 200 credits to exchange for a resurrection pill. Moreover, this thing was very effective in healing internal injuries. It was very effective. Fang Ping had obtained a few before, but in the catacombs he had been injured repeatedly and used them in the end. This is good stuff. I'll have to visit more in the future. Fang Ping held the pill, his face full of joy. His wealth had also increased by more than 4 million, recovering to more than 20 million. Right, the school has a reward of 1,000 credits. This is a big deal. I can't forget it. Chapter 283. After leaving the logistics department, Fang Ping had an additional 1,000 credits. The reward for a rank 4 martial artist was great, and the university would not skimp on it. However, Old Man Lu was not at the logistics department now, and Fang Ping did not redeem the pills. He would save the 1,000 credits first. After receiving the 1,000 credits, Fang Ping's wealth increased by another 20 million. His wealth had reached more than 42 million, just enough to make up for what he had spent previously. For this breakthrough, he had spent 5 million on the vitality pool and 6 million on a few viscer-shielding pills. At this moment, Fang Ping still had 65 million in cash. 65 million in cash, 1,000 credits, 1 resurrection pill, 3 vitality outburst pills, a guandao, an inner armor, and a pair of combat boots. This was all Fang Ping had now, excluding the company. If he were to convert the company and equipment into money, Fang Ping's current net worth would probably be 300 million. It's only been a year. Fang Ping was actually very proud. Since he came to Magic City in August last year, he had come almost empty-handed. His entire net worth was more than 1 million. Now a year had passed, This year he had cultivated to middle stage rank 4 and accumulated close to 300 million in assets. Among the students, not only was he the most profitable, but he was also the one who improved the fastest. Dare I ask the heroes of the world who can compete with me? Fong Ping tossed out these lofty words, shocking an instructor who passed by, leaving him speechless. Since when was a rank 4 martial artist so confident? Fong Ping broke through on the 18th of August. On the 20th of August, students returned to school, one after another. Those who did not receive a notice from the university. Before the 23rd of August, unless there were special circumstances, everyone had to return, including some students who were practicing locally. The old vice-chancellor died in the catacombs. Now that the MCMAU instructors had come out of the catacombs, the university was also facing a major change. Unlike other universities, the change of leadership did not require students to witness it. MCMAU was a martial arts university. The relationship between students and instructors was not just that of students and teachers, but also that of comrades and friends who could rely on each other for life and death in the future. Under such circumstances, the martial arts university students would also participate in some of the changes in positions. As the students returned, MCMAU finally became lively, not as desolate as before. These few days, Fong Ping was not idle either. After visiting Lu Fengru, Fong Ping started learning flight step. As for high-ranked combat techniques, Fong Ping had yet to learn them. Rice must be eaten bite by bite. Although there were high-ranked combat techniques, it did not mean that middle-ranked ones were useless. His manic explosions, 7 slashes into 1, was still not proficient enough. Once he was proficient and mastered the rank 4 outburst, those who had just learned high-ranked combat techniques would not be able to compete with him. High-ranked combat techniques could release vitality externally, but so what? Releasing his vitality did not necessarily have much power. If he could not hit the enemy, and his explosive power was not strong enough, Fong Ping could still kill him with 1 slash. Purely releasing vitality was useless. Back in the catacombs, the long-range archer knew how to release vitality, but he was still killed by Fong Ping. Mastering it deeply was the true meaning of combat techniques. Fong Ping's progress in learning flight step was fast. He knew cloud steps, and his pole standing had entered the elevated stance a long time ago. With both of them working together, his progress in practicing flight step was rapid. Even Lu Fengru sighed inwardly. Why was it that Fong Ping could cultivate these cultivation methods so quickly, but real combat cultivation methods were not so fast? The methods of honing, internal organs, and flight step were the 2 cultivation methods that Fong Ping was currently focusing on. While cultivating, Fong Ping's mentality and vitality were both increasing. Fong Ping realized that his progress was very fast when he tried cultivating his internal organs for the first time. However, at this moment, Fong Ping's priority was to stabilize his middle stage rank 4. Honing the heart could not be rushed. Strictly speaking, honing the heart was the most difficult and dangerous for the 5 viscera. Therefore, from middle stage to upper stage rank 4 was also the stage that everyone took a long time to achieve. On the contrary, from upper stage to peak, honing the other 4 viscera was faster than honing the heart alone. CCMAU's Li Han-song had only spent a little more than 2 months to go from upper stage to peak rank 4. Wang Jinyang had spent a lot of time going from middle stage to upper stage, but it was much faster to go from upper stage to peak. On the 1st of July, the ranking list was released. Fong Ping was peak rank 3. Wang Jinyang estimated that if Fong Ping entered rank 4, he would probably be able to enter peak rank 4. It was clear that Wang Jinyang was also very confident in his speed of entering peak rank 4. On the 22nd of August, Fu Changding and the others returned to the university. As soon as they returned, Fong Ping took the initiative to treat them to a meal. It was simply beyond everyone's imagination. First floor of the cafeteria. Fong Ping greeted everyone enthusiastically, smiling. Everyone eat up. If it's not enough, order more. Fu Chongding sighed softly. I knew it, hoping that Fong Ping would be unreliable. On the first floor of the cafeteria, the normal dishes were all free. As he greeted everyone to eat, Fong Ping smiled. Zhao Lei, your rank, 3 now. Congratulations. Zhao Lei nodded slightly and did not say much. They're all geniuses, Fong Ping exclaimed. Zhao Lei entered rank 3. Yunqi is also rank 3, and Fu Chongding has also entered rank 3. Yang Xiaoman, you're a little embarrassing. Peak rank 2. Xue Mei has already caught up. Yang Xiaoman lowered her head and gnawed on the chicken drumstick fiercely. So what if I did not enter rank 3? I'm an eyesore, and you still have to hit me. Tang Songting is already upper stage rank 2. He's still a little away from peak, but it'll be very soon. Jin Lei and the rest of you are also almost upper stage rank 2. Work hard and strive to reach rank 3 as soon as possible. Our batch is much stronger than Xie batch. When we enrolled, were there any rank 3 martial artists in their batch? As for us, we have 3 now. There's still a few more days until the new batch. Xue Mei might be able to break through too. Fong Ping was all smiles. Zhang Yu's batch isn't good either. Last year, when we enrolled, there were rank 5 martial artists in the senior year. That's considered strong. This batch of seniors doesn't even have a peak martial artist. I wonder if Chen Wenlong has broken through. Speaking of which, our batch is still the strongest. It's time for the school to change its style. Fu Chongding was amused. Just say it. What do you want? Also, just say it directly. You've broken through to rank 4. Why do you have to calculate how many rank 3 martial artists there are? Are you afraid that no one will ask and you'll be left out? Fong Ping said righteously, Nonsense. Do I look like that kind of shallow person? Although I've become a middle stage rank for martial artist, have I ever told anyone about this? The entire table was silent. They had seen people who pretended to be weak, but they had never seen someone like Fong Ping, who took the initiative to gather everyone together and then put on a show. Middle stage, the others did not cooperate. Chun Yunqi could not help but ask softly, You said your middle stage rank 4? Fong Ping smiled reservedly. It's nothing. It's just that when I broke through, I built 5 celestial bridges at once. It's nothing. Cough, cough. Zhao Lei coughed softly. He said tiredly, All right, we got it. So what? Fong Ping glanced at him. His gaze was unfriendly. Middle stage rank for is really nothing, right? Mother asterisk her. Aren't you going to exclaim a few words? Zhao Lei's expression darkened again. After a while he said, Very powerful, very powerful. If you dare to hit me again, I guarantee that my dad will come to the school. You're a middle-ranked, and I'm only a low-ranked. Bastard. Do you really think I can't handle you? You're in the 3 lower ranks, and I'm in the 3 lower ranks. You're a middle-ranked, and I'm still a low-ranked. If you dare to hit me again, do you think I'm useless? Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. He coughed dryly and said, What are you talking about? How can you call it a fight between classmates? Right? I forgot to ask if your dad is an early stage or upper stage rank 5. Peak rank 5, Zhao Lei said unkindly. If I can't beat you, then I'll use my dad. Peak rank 5 is enough to beat you up. Peak rank 5, huh? Fong Ping pondered for a moment. Then let's wait for a few months. I'll talk about it after I've achieved rank 5. Zhao Lei was completely exhausted. He lowered his head and drank his soup. I don't want to talk to you. Fong Ping laughed for a while. He continued, All right, these are off topic. Between classmates, we should help each other, love each other, and support each other. There's no reason for us to fight. It even escalated to the point where we have to call our parents. Isn't that embarrassing? This time, I'm treating everyone to a meal to discuss serious matters. Yang Xiaoman raised her head. Are you sure you're treating? Nonsense. Isn't the food here? Martial artists have to be frugal too. We can't waste. Fang Ping changed the topic immediately and said, Everyone knows about the Vice-Chancellor's incident. Vice-Chancellor Wu is now the new Vice-Chancellor. I think it's time for the Martial Arts Society to be replaced. Actually, it's a consensus among the universities that seniors should not be the president of the Martial Arts Society. Zhang, you should have taken the initiative to step down. Now, Zhang Yu is actually plotting to let Chen Wenlong take over. This is reversing history. The seniors are about to graduate and go their separate ways. Chen Wenlong is training in the military department in order to plan for after graduation. Does he have the time to lead the Martial Arts Society to a better future? As for me, I'll only be a sophomore in a few days. I still have a long time in school. I think it's very suitable for me to take over Zhang Yu's position as the president of the Martial Arts Society. As for you guys, you're the representative students of your sophomore year. You guys also have a certain say in the selection of the president of the Martial Arts Society. You guys represent the sophomores, so you have the right to do so. As for my seniors, they can also represent the juniors and seniors to say a few words. To put it more realistically, I might be a rank 5 soon. Is it really feasible for the university not to let me be the president of the Martial Arts Society? It's not like I'm going to graduate soon. I'm spending most of my time in school. How can I tolerate those who are weaker than me criticizing me? So, for the sake of the university's stability, for the sake of a better role model for the students, Fu Changding raised his hand and interrupted him. All right, we know what you're trying to say. Don't flatter yourself. Supporting you to be the president is not a problem. The thing is, we don't have the final say. It's the general trend. Fang Ping chuckled. You guys represent the more than 1,000 sophomores. Your support is, of course, meaningful. After saying that, Fang Ping looked at Zhao Lei. What do you say? Whatever. Yang Xiaoman, what about you? Before Yang Xiaoman could finish, Fang Ping's gaze turned dangerous. I haven't settled the score with you for tarnishing my reputation. If you say another word of objection, we'll become enemies. Yang Xiaoman looked furious. After a while, she said sullenly, I have no objections. Yunqi, you don't have any objections either, right? Chun Yunqi shook her head. After thinking for a while, she asked, Why haven't you been selling pills recently? Fang Ping was stunned. What's with the topic? Let's not talk about this for now. Let's talk about the Martial Arts Society. Zhao Xuemei cut him off immediately. What are you talking about? We have no objections to you being the president of the Martial Arts Society. Let's eat. You talk too much. Fang Ping was stunned again. Can't you guys be more excited? I'm going to lead all the students in MCMAU. Then you should at least have the demeanor of a student leader, okay? Fu Changding was speechless. At least treat us to something nice. Are you trying to fool us with this? Also, if you become the president of the Martial Arts Society and peddle pills, do you believe that the instructors will hunt you down all over the world? Those who don't know better would think that you've embezzled a lot from the Martial Arts Society. Also, Fu Changding paused and said awkwardly, I say, can you stop shooting the small advertisements? I can't afford to lose face. Some of my high school classmates asked me if I knew Fang Ping. I said I knew him. In the end, he didn't ask anything else but if I could walk on air and dick. I almost went crazy. Tell me, you have such a big black spot. How big is the impact? An invincible rank. 3 has been ruined by you. Fang Ping said exasperatedly, I didn't steal or rob. What's wrong with shooting some advertisements? I'm a child from a poor family. How can I be the same as you guys? If I don't earn some money, how can I cultivate? The cultivation of rank can easily cost a few million. Where can I get money? Whoever dares to talk about this, I'll teach them a lesson. Chan Yunqi said sympathetically, It's not easy. Actually, I think it's good this way. There are people online who are slandering you. Oh, right. I don't know how that reporter found out my QQ. He even sent me a private message saying that you were the one who asked him to spread the rumors online. This kind of person is really shameless. He has no sense of responsibility at all. Fong Ping nodded quietly. Lu Dali, I'll remember you. Don't let me catch you. If I catch you, just wait for your death. Fu Changding and the others looked at Fong Ping strangely. Chun Yunqi did not believe him, but they were starting to believe him. At the same time, Lu Dali, who was thousands of miles away, sneezed loudly and muttered, "There's big news in Magic City. MCMAU's vice-chancellor is going to change. Too bad that guy is in MCMAU. I'm upper stage rank 3 now. I wonder if I'm his opponent?" Lu Dali was still quite confident at this moment. He had broken through to upper stage rank 3 and felt his body transforming. He was much stronger. Previously, Fong Ping and the others walked in the Midair step and split rocks with one slash. At that time, he felt that the gap was too big. Now, Lu Dali felt that he could do it too. Should I go or not? If I go, will I be able to enter MCMAU? One of the big two has a change of vice-chancellor. It's almost the start of school. It'll definitely attract attention. Lu Dali hesitated for a moment. Magic City was a good place. There was a lot of news and big news. He could not give up on Magic City, a treasure land, just because of Fong Ping, could he? I'm not afraid of him, but he has a backer. Lu Dali sighed. Comparing oneself to others would only make one angry. Chapter 284. From the 22nd of August, Fong Ping began contacting the students. The Martial Arts Society was going to be restructured. The Ping Yuan club members once again played their role. Inside MCMAU's campus, Senior Zhang Yu is already a senior. Logically speaking, the Martial Arts Society should elect a new president. That's right. It's a consensus among all schools that seniors don't become the president of the Martial Arts Society. Senior Zhang is a little obsessed with power. Senior Zhang and the others are already preparing for their future. They don't have time to manage the Martial Arts Society. Now that the Martial Arts Society only exists in name and Senior Zhou Yan is managing it, what's the point of the Martial Arts Society's existence? There's a change. A new president. I think Senior Xia Lei is a good choice. He can be the president. I think Xia Lei is a good choice too. For a moment, a gust of evil wind blew through MCU. Everyone cheered. Xia Lei should be the president. Inside the Martial Arts Society, Zhang Yu leaned back in his chair and asked softly, "What do you guys think?" Xia Lei said in a low voice, "I didn't instigate it." Xia Lei isn't that kind of person. Zhang Ziwei, who had entered rank 3, chimed in. Zhang Yu chuckled. "I believe it wasn't Xia Lei's idea, but the students are right. Under normal circumstances, seniors don't become the president of the Martial Arts Society." Zhou Yan continued. "The president isn't greedy for the president's position. It's just that the second martial arts championship will continue in the second half of the year. If the president leaves now, he can only leave the Martial Arts Society. When the time comes, the president won't be able to fight anymore." Qin Fengqing, who had just returned, said impatiently, "At the end of the day, it's still a matter of strength. If you're strong enough, who dares to make a fuss?" Qin Fengqing said, "If I'm not mistaken, I know everyone in the Ping Yuan Club. They're the ones spreading the news." "Ignore him. If this kid wants to be the president, I want to be too. Xia Lei, you want to fight me?" Xia Lei frowned. After a while, he said, "Qin Fengqing, I have no intention of fighting for President Zhang's position. However, if you or Fong Ping want it, you'll have to ask for my opinion." "Who do you think you are?" Qin Fengqing snorted coldly. "Don't think that just because you've broken through to rank for that you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. If you're not convinced, let's fight it out. You think I'm afraid of you?" Xia Lei's eyes were cold, his eyebrows raised high, making him look even colder. Enough! Zhang Yu growled and massaged his temples. Shut up, all of you. Since we know that Fong Ping did it, it means that Fong Ping has his sights set on the president of the Martial Arts Society. Everyone, what do you think? Liang Fenghua, who had also just broken through to rank 4, said mildly, I don't think there's a problem. The president is already in his senior year. It's true that he doesn't have much energy to spend on the Martial Arts Society. If that's the case, it's not a big deal to change the president. Xie Lei frowned. Senior Liang, how much do you know about Fong Ping? Don't be selfish just because he's Instructor Lu's student. I will not elaborate on Fong Ping's character, but he valued his own personal interests more. This was obvious to all. Whether it's distance platform, his reselling of elixirs in the school, or those small advertisements, they've all seriously affected the school's atmosphere. Liang Fenghua smiled but didn't say anything. Yi Qing sneered and said, What a joke! Does the school have a rule that students aren't allowed to shoot advertisements? The vice-chancellor can even say it, but you're denying it with just one sentence. Junior Fong's family is poor. The catacombs are sealed, and he has no funds for cultivation. Relying on his own money to exchange for resources is an original sin? That includes reselling pills. That's his freedom. It's his own credits. Who cares who he sells them to? There's also the platform. He controls the platform and obtains benefits for the students. You, Xie Lei, can't do it. So you deny Junior Fong's credit? What? You, Xie Lei, are thrice honed, 1 year ahead of Junior Fong. Now that you're inferior to him, is it because you're jealous? If you say that Junior Fong is selfish, what about you, Xie Lei? Do you dare say that you're not targeting Junior Fong because he stole your limelight and hit your girlfriend? Xie Lei, we're all martial artists and smart people. Don't treat anyone as a fool. Xie Lei sneered. If you want to think that way, then think that way. Whether it's public or private, it's up to the people's hearts. You may know a person for a long time, but you don't know his heart. Yi Qing said mildly, Don't talk about useless things. If Fong Ping wants to be the president, it'll depend on his ability and whether he can convince the public. I don't have any objections. I suggest that the seniors don't express their opinions. As for you, if you want to be the president, I don't have any objections either. The prerequisite is that you can beat Fong Ping and be more convincing than him. Qin Fengqing suddenly slammed the table and said angrily, Why can't I express my opinion? I want to be the president too. Zhang Yu's head was about to explode. Zhou Yan, who had not spoken much, said helplessly, You're about to graduate. Is there a need? Why isn't there a need? Qin Fengqing snorted. Capable people do more work. If I think I can do it, then I can do it. Zhang Yu is being roasted on the fire now because he can't convince the public. He took over as the president of the Martial Arts Society during the holidays last year. It's been a year since then, and Zhang Yu has not shown any outstanding performance. That's why the school is criticizing him now. If Zhang Yu became a rank 5 martial artist in this year, who would doubt it? Would Fong Ping dare? Would Xie Lei dare? Saying so much was all nonsense. The Martial Arts Society was a martial arts society. If it did not focus on martial arts, would it be a joke? I feel that my martial arts realm is strong, so I can be the president. As for management, there are a lot of people in the Faculty of Liberal Arts, and there are a lot of people studying management courses. I can just randomly find a few people to manage the school. Qin Fengqing's words were crude, but Liang Fenghua smiled and said, Old Qin's words are crude, but they are not. That is indeed the case. President, what do you say? Zhang Yu glanced at Xie Lei, then looked at Qin Fengqing and sighed. Indeed, as the president of the Martial Arts Society, I have not achieved anything. I am responsible for this. MCMAU's Martial Arts Society was weak now. The so-called co-governance of the school had become empty talk. You guys should be dissatisfied with me. I will also take the blame and resign, giving up my position as the president of the Martial Arts Society. Now, however, in CCMAU Martial Arts Society, Li Han Song was a peak rank 4. NMAU Martial Arts Society, Wang Jinyang, upper stage rank 4. Huawu Martial Arts Society, Lu Shiji, upper stage rank 4. Even SCMAU Martial Arts Society, Chin Haoren, is a middle stage rank 4. Everyone, it is not that I am greedy for this position, but I feel that this position should be held by the strong. Let Chen Wenlong take it. Chen Wenlong had been there all along. However, Chen Wenlong did not say anything, sitting in the corner. After hearing Zhang Yu's words, Chen Wenlong was silent for a moment and said, I have already discussed with the Magic City military branch. After I graduate, I will enter the Magic City military department and be the commander-in-chief. After this, I will spend most of my time in the Magic City catacombs. Old Zhang, I am sorry. Zhang Yu frowned slightly. After a while, he said, I will not force you, but if the Martial Arts Society really wants to go to war at the end of the year, I hope you can participate. That is for sure. Chen Wenlong said in a low voice, I have wanted to compete with others for a long time. Since ancient times, there has been no first place in literature and no second place in martial arts. Whether people like Li Han Song can truly be invincible among rank 4, I will have to ask your opinion. Zhang Yu nodded slightly and lightly knocked on the table. After a while, he said, Then let's do it this way. What do you mean this way? Qin Fengqing was dissatisfied. Since Fang Ping wants this position, he chose this timing. If nothing goes wrong, he will make trouble in these 2 days. Zhang Yu said softly, Since everyone wants this position, then we will have to rely on our own abilities. What about you? Zhang Yu chuckled. Me. We will talk about it after you beat me. If you can't beat me, even if I resign, the Martial Arts Society's president position will be vacant, waiting for a more suitable candidate. Qin Fengqing and the others did not say anything else. They would have to rely on their own abilities. On the 24th of August, MCMAU held a campus-wide meeting. Field 1. Early in the morning, thousands of students gathered, their vigor soaring. 3 batches of students, close to 5,000 people. Both the civil and martial arts instructors, close to 1,000. With so many martial arts powerhouses gathered together, their vitality filled the air, pressuring some rank 1 martial artist so much that their faces turned pale. Now, the new students had not arrived yet. MCMAU's students had enrolled for at least a year, and almost all of them had become martial artists. There were aspiring martial artists too, but they were either twice honed or thrice honed. Their abilities were not much weaker than the average rank 1 martial artists. Although a large number of middle-ranked instructors did not deliberately unleash their vitality, their years of killing had also overflowed with killing intent, shaking the void. When all MCMAU students and instructors gathered, the entire Magic City could feel the pressure coming from MCMAU. 5,000 to 6,000 martial artists, including middle-ranked and high-ranked ones. MCMAU's strength could be said to be terrifying. There were no seats on the rostrum. Wu Quishan stood in the center, flanked by Huang Jing and a skinny old man, Lu Pelu, who had rushed back from Nanjiang. On both sides were 7 peak rank 6 powerhouses. At this moment, only these 10 people on the rostrum were from MCMAU. The other instructors, like the students, stood on the field. Other than the people from MCMAU, there were also a few powerhouses from the outside world on the rostrum. The central government, the Ministry of Education, the military department, and Magic City had all sent powerhouses over to witness the election of MCMAU's vice-chancellor and to announce the appointment from above. Instructors, fellow students. Wu Quishan was the first to speak, saying loudly, 2009, June 28th. Everyone, please remember this day. On this day, many adorable and respectable people have left us forever, including our Vice-Chancellor. In this life, his greatest wish was to lead MCMAU to greater heights. In this life, his last regret was that he could not grow with MCMAU. After working hard for 60 years, Even in his last moments, he could not let go of MCMAU. There was a commotion below the stage. Many people seemed to be slightly at a loss. The vice-chancellor was dead? A grandmaster-level powerhouse. Dead just like that? Not everyone knew that the cenotaph was built that day. Some people went back. Some were not qualified to go to the southern area. They did not know. Many people no longer cared about what Wu Quishan said. After a moment, Wu Quishan shouted, "The dead are gone, but MCMAU cannot stop moving forward." Today, Wu Quishan, in accordance with the Vice-Chancellor's last wish, has officially assumed the position of Vice-Chancellor of Magic City Martial Arts University. Wu Quishan was very straightforward. He did not elaborate much, nor did he need anyone else to announce it. He directly announced the fact that he was taking over as Vice-Chancellor. There was silence below the stage. There was no applause. Wu Quishan did not care either. At this moment, there was no need for applause. Standing between him and Huang Jing was a middle-aged man, slightly behind. When he finished, he did not need anyone to introduce him, taking the initiative to introduce himself. He was a martial artist from the Education Department. After the self-introduction, the other party began to announce the new appointments of MCMAU. Wu Quishan, appointed Vice-Chancellor. Huang Jing, appointed Vice-Chancellor. Lu Polu continued to be the honorary Vice-Chancellor. In reality, he did not participate in the day-to-day management, which was also a practice for many years. There were only these three people's appointment notices. As for the choice of dean, that was the school's business, the business of the three grandmasters. As for Wu Quishan, after the other party finished his announcement, he announced the new appointments. Huang Jing continued to be the dean of the School of Weaponry. Tang Feng and Li Chongqing became vice-chancellors. There were no changes in the School of Social Sciences. There were no changes in the School of Production either. However, there were changes in the School of Tactics and Strategy. Luo Yichuan, appointed as the dean of the School of Tactics and Strategy. Dean Zheng sacrificed himself on the 16th of July. There was a commotion below the stage again. Some of the School of Tactics and Strategy students' expressions changed. The dean was dead? What was going on? The vice-chancellor, a grandmaster powerhouse, was dead. The dean of the School of Tactics and Strategy, who was also a peak rank 6 powerhouse, was also dead. There were also some familiar instructors who were nowhere to be seen. Normally, the school would not gather students and instructors together, so everyone did not feel too much about it. However, now that the school assembly had begun, everyone was very clear about who was missing. Fang Ping, who was below the stage, had a hunch when he saw that there were only 7 peak rank 6 powerhouses on the stage. Previously, he had guessed that Dean Zheng might stay in the catacombs, but Fang Ping also understood that the possibility was very low. The powerhouse who guarded the catacombs had returned. How could Dean Zheng not return? Was MCMAU going to change the world? Before Wu Quishan and the others and Zhang you could speak, an instructor scolded. How can the position of the Martial Arts Society president be given so casually? Fang Ping, today is not the time for you to fool around. Fang Ping said loudly, Instructor, do you think I'm fooling around? Now that MCMAU's 3 high grandmasters, thousands of instructors, and thousands of students are here, how can you say that I'm fooling around? The president of the Martial Arts Society, the leader of MCMAU's students, Fang Ping, what have you done for MCMAU? Zhang Yu is conscientious and conscientious. How can you dismiss him without doing anything wrong? Fang Ping said loudly again, in martial arts universities, being weak is the biggest mistake. Martial arts universities are not universities. We've been reminded of this time and time again since we entered. Vice-Chancellor Wu, Vice-Chancellor Huang, and the deans of the various schools, who isn't a powerhouse among the powerhouses. The president of the Martial Arts Society is naturally a powerhouse among the students. In CCMAU Martial Arts Society, Li Hansong has already reached peak rank 4. In other martial arts universities, the strongest powerhouses are also the president of the Martial Arts Society. In MCMAU today, rank 5 students have graduated. The situation is different. We can't be as lazy as before. I think my strength is better than President Zhang's. Why can't I use my strength to prove myself? After saying that, Fang Ping continued, as for contributions at the beginning of this year, I led MCMAU to victory in the championship. Is that considered a contribution? I'm invincible among rank 3, sweeping through all the schools and raising MCMAU's prestige. Is that considered a contribution? I've brought back important information for Sino Nation. Is that considered a contribution? If instructor denies my right to challenge based on this, I don't think it's appropriate. The instructor who retorted was about to continue when Wu Quishan said lightly, Zhang Yu, what do you say? Among the crowd, Zhang Yu stepped forward. He raised his head and said, I accept the challenge. Fang Ping is right. Times have changed. MCMAU needs a stronger student to be the president of the Martial Arts Society. Even if Fang Ping didn't say it, I'd have this thought. Of course. Defeating me doesn't mean you're the strongest. Fang Ping, if you win, do you dare to accept other people's challenges? Fang Ping smiled. Senior Zhang, you don't have to provoke me. You can challenge me. I, Fang Ping, will not refuse anyone. At this moment, Xia Lei suddenly shouted, Fang Ping, if you want to challenge the president, you'll have to go through me first. Zhang Yu was about to stop him when Fang Ping said loudly, I've wanted to spar with you for a long time. Xia Lei, since you can't wait, then you and I will fight first. What's the harm in warming up? Arrogant. Xia Lei was furious. Fang Ping's words about warming up had completely infuriated him. Chapter 285. Xia Lei leaped out of the crowd. Fang Ping ignored the others and leaped out as well. I'll defeat you in 3 moves. Fang Ping shouted softly. He did not wield his saber. He was barehanded. Long weapons like the guandao were not suitable to be carried around. Let's see how long you can be arrogant. Xia Lei was completely enraged. Their conversation ended. Fang Ping's toes touched the ground, and he leaped into the air, pouncing like a tiger. In the air, Fang Ping growled. His palms turned crimson. Chop! His shout was like thunder, exploding in everyone's ears. In the next moment, many people came back to their senses and looked forward. Many people's expressions changed drastically. Fang Ping's palm chopped down. Xia Lei was unwilling to retreat, so he raised his fist to take it. However, Xia Lei, who had just entered early stage rank 4, had not stayed at peak rank 3 for long. He was no match for Fang Ping at the same rank, not to mention that Fang Ping was 1 rank higher. Manic explosions, 7 chops combined into 1. With 1 chop, blood splattered from Xia Lei's fist, and the bones in his fist emitted an ear-piercing crack. While everyone was still in shock, Fang Ping roared again. Freeze! A roar rang out. Xia Lei's expression froze. In the next second, Fang Ping turned his palm into a fist and punched Xia Lei's chest. Xia Lei flew out and fell to the ground, speechless for a long time. Senior Xia, thank you for letting me win. Fang Ping's expression was calm. Including the mentality intimidation, Xia Lei was defeated in 3 moves. The first move was only to let Xia Lei know the difference between them. Otherwise, Fang Ping, whose mentality was above 600 Hz, would have no problem intimidating Xia Lei. Under mentality intimidation, 1 move was enough to defeat him. The entire field was silent. Xia Lei, who was also thrice honed, was 1 year older than Fang Ping. He was also one of MCMAU's geniuses and was once known as the best successor to the president. However, at this moment, he was defeated by Fang Ping in about 2 seconds. He was defeated too quickly, too badly. This scene was something that none of the students had expected. Even the instructors probably didn't expect this. On the high platform, Lu Fengru was indifferent. Li Chongqing chuckled. Everyone else's expression changed slightly. Others might have thought that this was a battle between two peak rank 3 martial artists, but they knew that this was a battle between two middle-ranked powerhouses. Yes, a middle-ranked could be called a powerhouse. However, Xia Lei, the prodigy of MCMAU, was defeated in 2 moves. Mental intimidation didn't even count. Spirit intimidation, Wu Quishan murmured softly. Beside him, Huang Jing said with rapt attention, his mentality is much stronger than before. When Yao Qingjun was at rank 4, his mentality could be released and exceeded 600 hertz. Fang Ping doesn't seem to be weaker than him. Huang Jing actually knew how strong Fang Ping's mentality was. The first time he saw it, it was when Fang Ping tried to disturb him. At that time, it was not too high. The second time, Fang Ping had broken through to upper stage rank 3. His mentality had also achieved a breakthrough. At that time, Fang Ping had actually reached the standard for external projection. Of course, it was not the kind of external projection that a grandmaster could achieve. Instead, it was the ability to break away from the limitations of the body and capture energy particles. How long has it been? The progress of mental power was extremely slow. It was not like vitality, where a breakthrough in a realm would result in an increase of a few hundred cal to 1,000 cal of vitality. It was extremely difficult to increase one's mental strength without the assistance of medicinal pellets and cultivation techniques. Even if Fang Ping had reached rank, for it was reasonable to say that his mentality would not increase too much. But now, Fang Ping's mentality had indeed increased extremely quickly. He had intimidated Xia Lei, who was also a rank 4, and almost made Xia Lei unable to fight back. MCMAU's last grandmaster, the skinny Lu Polu, laughed and said, "The kid went to Nanjiang to visit Zhang Dingnan. Zhang Dingnan also thinks highly of him. I'm afraid the position of the Martial Arts Society president will really fall into his hands." Beside him, Old Manly laughed and said, "Old Lu, it's not just Zhang Dingnan. Vice-Chancellor Chen of SCMAU is also full of praise. I think the position of the Martial Arts Society president is going to fall into his hands." On the other side, Tang Feng frowned slightly and said, "Can he manage the Martial Arts Society well?" "Why not?" Old Manly laughed and said, "It's his own business. I think he can manage it well." Tang Feng shut his mouth and said nothing. In his eyes, he also felt that martial arts universities respected the strong. If Zhang Yu was not as good as Fang Ping, then it was reasonable for him to give up the position of the Martial Arts Society president. But he just felt that it was awkward for this kid Fang Ping to be the Martial Arts Society president. Forget it. He could not be bothered. Tang Feng did not speak again. The other deans did not speak either. Wu Quishan saw the situation and looked at the silent Lu Fengru. At the front of the crowd, Xia Lei seemed to be in a trance. It was Zhang Ziwei who went up and helped him back into the crowd without saying a word. When martial artists fought, victory and defeat could sometimes happen so quickly. This also proved the difference in strength between them. Zhang Yu exhaled softly. Qin Fengqing, who was at the front of the crowd, clicked his tongue. This kid Fang Ping was getting more and more difficult to deal with. Amazing. Is this the strength of the first rank 3? President Xia lost just like that? Unbelievable. Xia Lei was quite famous. Before Fang Ping came to MCMAU, he was the only thrice-honed martial artist in MCMAU and the vice president of the Martial Arts Society. Before this, Xia Lei's ranking in the rank 3 combat strength ranking was not low. However, at this moment, everyone saw the difference in strength between Xia Lei and Fang Ping for the first time. They were both thrice-honed martial artists, but Fang Ping defeated Xia Lei easily. At the front of the crowd, Zhang Yu's expression was slightly solemn. "Junior Fang is rank 4 now." Fang Ping smiled. "Senior Xia is also rank 4. I'm not suppressing him with my rank, am I? Fang Ping considered this as an explanation, lest everyone thought that he was bullying others. However, this sentence ignited the flames again. Rank for martial artists. Fang Ping is rank 4. Xia Lei is rank 4 too. They are both true prodigies. This is too fast. One is just a sophomore, the other is just a junior. Xia Lei still has 2 years to graduate. Fang Ping still has 3 years. Are they going to be rank 5 or 6 students? Whether it was Xia Lei or Fang Ping, they were currently in the golden cultivation period. In 2 years' time, it would not be difficult for Xia Lei to advance another rank 5. As for Fang Ping, he might be able to reach rank 6, or at least rank 5. The battle between the two rank for martial artists ended faster than anyone could imagine. Senior Zhang, it's our turn now, right? Fang Ping said with a smile. Zhang Yu took a small breath and stepped forward, nodding. Junior Fang, please. Please. This time, the two of them exchanged a martial arts salute. After the salute, Fang Ping leaped into the air again, releasing his mentality instantly. Zhang Yu's expression was slightly dazed, but he reacted quickly. With a light palm, he blocked Fang Ping's palm saber. After blocking the palm saber, Zhang Yu took a few steps back. Fang Ping pressed forward and growled again. Zhang Yu's movements were slightly sluggish. At this moment, Fang Ping's palm turned crimson, and he slammed it down. Bang! Zhang Yu's reaction was a beat slower, but his body turned golden as he blocked Fang Ping's palm saber. Fang Ping did not care at all. His mentality continued to intimidate. Zhang Yu growled, and a blood-red glow appeared on top of his head. His killing intent was exposed. That time with Ling Yi was different. Fang Ping laughed lightly. That time he was blocked by Ling Yi, and even his mentality was destroyed. That was because he had not made up his mind to replenish his mentality. Moreover, he was unprepared the first time, and his mentality was not as strong as it was now. Right now, Fang Ping did not care if he replenished his mentality when he challenged Zhang Yu. The killing intent had neutralized some of the effects of mentality. Following that, however, Fang Ping's mentality seemed to be endless, suppressing Zhang Yu continuously. Zhang Yu growled again and again, trying to get out of this situation. When martial artists fought, life and death could be decided in an instant. Zhang Yu was a powerhouse who had cultivated bodybuilding techniques, so his body was strong. However, no matter how strong his body was, when Fang Ping's palm saber turned crimson and slashed several times in a row, Zhang Yu could not take it anymore. His clothes were torn, and his chest and arms were bleeding. Fang Ping did not want to waste too much time. With a low growl, the power of his palm saber increased by 30%. Bang! Bang! After a few consecutive loud bangs, Zhang Yu was forced to retreat from the slashes. His body was bleeding profusely, but his reaction speed could not keep up with Fang Ping's. He could only take the hits. Sigh. Among the instructors, someone sighed softly. Zhang Yu had lost. He was almost completely suppressed by Fang Ping, and he had no way to retaliate. As the president of the Martial Arts Society, Zhang Yu was not that weak. He had entered middle stage rank 4 and was not too far from upper stage. However, his mentality was not strong enough. Although a rank 4 martial artist could not sense mentality, it still existed. However, Zhang Yu's mentality had not been enhanced. Although he had killed many people in the catacombs and had a strong killing intent, he was now completely suppressed by Fang Ping. If his reaction speed could not keep up, he could only take the hits. At this moment, Fang Ping did not use his ultimate killing move. But with 7 combined slashes, even if the vitality outburst was not too strong, Zhang Yu would not be able to withstand it for long. Senior Zhang, it's just a sparring session. There's no need to do this. Fang Ping saw that Zhang Yu had no intention of leaving after being slashed more than 10 times. He also knew that he would not admit defeat. In the next moment, Fang Ping was no longer hesitant. Both his hands were crimson red. With a roar, both palms struck out at lightning speed. Bang! Zhang Yu stomped hard on the ground, creating deep pits in the lawn. He kept retreating. After retreating more than 10 steps, blood dripped from the corner of Zhang Yu's mouth, dyeing the lawn under his feet red. Freed from Fang Ping's mentality suppression, Zhang Yu's mind was clear. His gaze was slightly complicated. Fang Ping's mentality was so strong that if he encountered someone of the same rank, he would be completely suppressed. Even an upper stage rank for martial artist would be suppressed. Peak rank for martial artists who had honed all their organs might not be so suppressed, but they would still be affected. If he encountered a martial artist with such a strong mentality, it would be difficult to resist. Of course, someone like Li Hansong could. Not only had his organs honed, but his skull was also naturally formed. Fang Ping's mentality could not affect his reaction speed, nor could he suppress him. I've lost. Zhang Yu did not feel too dissatisfied. He only felt a little regretful. He did not even have the chance to show his strength before he was defeated by Fang Ping. He had been taking the hits from the beginning until the end, so he felt a little regretful. He did not see much of Fang Ping's strength in martial arts. It was a pity that Fang Ping was not willing to compete purely in martial arts. Mentality was also a manifestation of martial arts strength. Complaining now would only make him look like a joke. Thank you for letting me win. Fang Ping cupped his hands, turned his head to look at the crowd and smiled. Those who want to challenge me, you can do so now. Qin Fengqing was tempted. Chen Wenlong was slightly hesitant. After a while, Qin Fengqing shouted, I'll challenge you in a few days. He had to wait a few days because he had not mastered high-ranked combat techniques. This also meant that he could only fight in close combat with Fang Ping. If he fought in close combat, he would also be affected by mentality intimidation. However, once he mastered high-rank combat techniques, he could fight with Fang Ping from a distance. The saber aura would be used to compete in true combat techniques control, vitality strength, and speed. Qin Fengqing did not hide these from Fang Ping. Right now, however, Qin Fengqing was not sure if he would be affected. If he was like Zhang Yu, standing there and taking the hits, that was not his style. The Martial Arts Society's two big thorns. Xia Lei was defeated in an instant, and Qin Fengqing voluntarily gave up. At this moment, everyone in the Martial Arts Society fell silent. Chen Wenlong glanced at Zhang Yu, hesitated for a moment, and retreated. He would not stay in the university forever. Even if he fought with Fang Ping now, even if he won, so what? MCMAU Martial Arts Society needed powerhouses to keep up appearances. If he did not want to stay, then he did not need to challenge Fang Ping now. No one challenged. Xia Lei was defeated. Zhang Yu was beaten the whole time. Qin Fengqing gave up, and Chen Wenlong did not fight. The other rank 4 martial artists, like Liang Fenghua, did not say anything because they had entered the senior year, and they did not think that they could easily defeat Zhang Yu. Wu Quishan did not look at Fang Ping. He said, Is there anyone who wants to challenge? After a few seconds, seeing that the audience was silent, Wu Quishan looked at Zhang Yu and said, Zhang Yu, do you have anything to say? Zhang Yu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and shook his head lightly. Fang Ping wants to become the president of the Martial Arts Society. Do you have any objections? Wu Quishan looked at all the students. In the crowd, some rank 1 and 2 martial artists had no right to speak. For Fang Ping's cohort, Fu Changding said loudly, We have no objections. Fu Changding spoke on behalf of the sophomores, and the others did not refute. No objections. Liang Huabao, who had just broken through to upper stage rank 3, also replied loudly. Upper stage rank 3 was one of the strongest in the juniors. No objections. Yi Qing replied loudly. No objections. Wu Quishan asked again. There was a slight commotion in the crowd. Someone said in a low voice, Fang Ping attacked his classmates too harshly. He killed a classmate from the same university as a freshman. Wu Quishan looked at Fang Ping. Fang Ping said calmly, "Fists and feet have no eyes when it comes to sparring. I had just enrolled and became a martial artist not long ago. I don't have any family heritage, and I have never participated in actual combat. The seniors I sparred with were stronger than me. I could only give it my all, and casualties were inevitable." "That's too cruel." Fang Ping did not even turn his head. He raised his head and looked at the high platform, saying loudly, "Once you enter the arena, you are responsible for your own life and death. Do you expect the weak to hold back?" The Vice-Chancellor challenged a rank 6 martial artist today. "Do you expect the rank 6 martial artist to hold back during the sparring? If the strong challenge the weak, the casualties will not be investigated." Wu Quishan heard that and thought for a moment. "This is the rule. Once you enter the arena, you are responsible for your own life and death." This time the audience was completely silent. Seeing that, Wu Quishan spoke again. "Zhang Yu and Fang Ping will complete the handover work soon." Having said that, Wu Quishan looked at Fang Ping deeply and said in a low voice, "I hope you can lead the MCMAU students to greater heights. Teachers and students will govern the university together. You and I will work together." "Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. I will not bring shame to MCMAU's name." Meeting adjourned. Wu Quishan said softly and strode away. The other higher-ups left one after another. Lu Fengru did not speak to Fang Ping. She glanced at Fang Ping and smiled. None of the students came to congratulate him. Zhang Yu was still there. He was the previous president of the Martial Arts Society. Losing his position as president was not something to be happy about. Many people still had complicated looks in their eyes. Among the crowd, only Qin Fengqing did not care about this. He said loudly, "Fang Ping, this position is yours for now. I will take it back in a few days." Having said that, Qin Fengqing strode away. Fang Ping smiled. "Next time you challenge me, remember to repay your 20 million debt first. Otherwise, I won't accept your challenge." Qin Fengqing stopped in his tracks. All the teachers and students were here. What did this bastard Fang Ping mean by mentioning that he owed him money? Moreover, where did he get 20 million from? Qin Fengqing had a bad feeling. He said softly, "It was only 10 million last time." Then I remembered wrongly. "It was 10 million. Remember to return it to me next time." "Everyone remembers," Fang Ping said quickly. Then he shouted, "All right, everyone is dismissed. Martial Arts Society members meeting tonight." Qin Fengqing wanted to say more, but Fang Ping had already left. Yen, Qin Fengqing cursed under his breath. He looked around at the people around him and said angrily, "What are you looking at? I don't owe him money." Zhang Yu, who still had some bloodstains on him, walked past him. He heard what he said and chuckled. "It's fine if you don't owe me, but if you don't owe him, it'll be hard." Fang Ping was not a person who was easy to talk to. Qin Fengqing was slightly angry. He gritted his teeth and said, "I don't remember borrowing money from him." "You said the same thing when you owed me money." Zhang Yu shook his head slightly and said no more. Qin Fengqing was a scoundrel. It was fine if he met him, but he would be entangled with Fang Ping's debt. "I really don't owe him." Everyone turned a deaf ear. Who would believe that? Both of them were not good people. Fang Ping purposely asked for an extra 10 million. Qin Fengqing wanted to renege on the 10 million he owed on purpose. It was not like everyone did not hear about it. "I really don't owe him." Qin Fengqing's face was full of grief and indignation. He really did not renege this time. He did not know how he ended up owing Fang Ping 10 million in a daze. And now the whole school knew about it. "I really don't owe him." Qin Fengqing mumbled again. He said in self-denial, "Anyway, I didn't borrow 10 million. I might have borrowed 1 or 2 million. I forgot. 10 million was definitely fake. But 1 or 2 million he might have really forgotten." When did you borrow it? Chapter 286. At the same time, MCMAU's entrance. Lu Dali said loudly, I'm really Fong Ping's friend. Brother, let me in. Then ask Fong Ping to pick you up or call the security office. There's no need to trouble him for such a small matter. As he spoke, some students were already walking over. The security uncle saw them and said, The meeting is over. You can call Fong Ping. He should be free. MMP. The meeting was over. Why would he go in? Besides, what if he called Fong Ping and the guy asked someone to beat him up? Lu Dali did not pester him any more. He turned and left. If he missed this chance, he would come again next time. Too bad he did not make it. Lu Dali left regretfully, but he did not know that Fong Ping did not know he was there. This guy was tired of living. He actually dared to come to him. Too bad he did not meet him. Now that Fong Ping had entered rank 4, he was so desperate for money that he wanted to fleece anyone he saw. Even the innocent Qin Fengqing had to take the blame. Lu Dali, this guy who had taken advantage of Fong Ping, did not meet him. If he did, he could only wait for death. The school meeting ended. Fong Ping was not in a hurry to go to the martial arts society. He did not want to appear too impatient. He wanted to give Zhang Yu and the others some time to grieve. However, Fong Ping arrived at the martial arts society in the afternoon. Zhang Yu had already changed his clothes. His previous disheveled appearance was nowhere to be seen. When it came to demeanor, Zhang Yu still had it. Seeing Fong Ping, Zhang Yu smiled and nodded slightly. The people beside him had complicated looks in their eyes. Without excessive pleasantries, Zhang Yu said, You don't know much about the martial arts society. I'll briefly explain the situation to you so you have a general understanding. Sorry to trouble you, Senior. No problem. The martial arts society is in your hands. Zhang Yu's tone was slightly complicated. Then he smiled and said, MCMAU Martial Arts Society has a total of 1 president and 4 vice presidents. Right now, the 4 vice presidents are Qin Fengqing, Xia Lei, Chen Wenlong, and Liang Fenghua. Brother Liang is also a vice president. Fong Ping was slightly surprised. Zhang Yu nodded. There were a few vice presidents before this. They were all students from the previous batch. Liang Fenghua broke through to rank 4, so he became the vice president. The current 4 vice presidents were all rank 4. As for MCMAU's rank 4 martial artists, including you and me, there are a total of 9 people. So little. Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. For vice presidents, including himself and Zhang Yu, that was a total of 6. Did that not mean that there were only 3 left? Zhang Yu sighed. Xia Lei is the only one who has broken through to rank 4 in his batch. You're the only one in your batch. In our cohort, 7 people are actually not too few. But before that, I needed a few more people. It's a pity that the last trip to the catacombs. During the previous trip to the catacombs, MCMAU had lost a few rank 4 students. 2 of them were from Zhang Yu's cohort. Otherwise, the number of rank 4 students in the double digits when the new students had just enrolled was not a small number. Wang Jinyang was a special case among normal martial arts universities like Nanjiang Martial Arts University. Many schools did not even have single rank 4. Zhang Yu did not say anything more. He continued, Other than the few vice presidents, the Martial Arts Society also has 6 major departments. Office, External Affairs Department, Internal Affairs Department, Finance Department, Discipline Inspection Department, Admissions Office. Wait. Fong Ping interrupted. Admissions Office? Zhang Yu smiled. Yes. The Martial Arts Society is actually in charge of admissions. The school instructors cooperate, including the setting of standards. They are all set by the Martial Arts Society and submitted to the school for review. After that, the Martial Arts Society is also in charge of admissions. Fong Ping was dumbfounded. The Martial Arts Society had delegated the task of admissions to them? He remembered Qin Fengqing saying that Xia Lei was busy with admissions. Fong Ping thought that Xia Lei had gone to work with the instructors. Now that he thought about it, it was the instructors who were working with the martial arts society. What were the school leaders responsible for? Come to think of it, it seemed that the school leaders only had to be responsible for becoming stronger. Of course, important matters were decided by the school. Although the martial arts society was in charge of setting the admission standards, they still had to get the school's approval. Zhang Yu continued. Zhou Yan is the director of the External Affairs Department. She is also the office director. Zhou Yan did not say a word. After hearing Zhang Yu's introduction, she said, I'm already in my senior year. I will step down from my position in the Martial Arts Society. Fang Ping raised his eyebrows and smiled. Senior Zhou, why do you have to do this? It's my first time here, and you want to leave right away. I'm going to have an internship in a company soon. I'm afraid I won't have much time to stay in the Martial Arts Society and deal with these matters, Zhou Yan replied. Fang Ping chuckled. Then I wish you all the best, Senior Zhou. Zhang Yu sighed softly. A new ruler brought his own ministers. Zhou Yan held multiple positions, and there were rumors that she and Zhang Yu had an ambiguous relationship. Her decision to step down now was not just because she was angry. It was better than being kicked away by Fang Ping. Fang Ping saw that she was determined, so he went with the flow and began to wish her well. Zhang Yu did not care about this. He continued, The office is in charge of the Martial Arts Society's internal affairs, including the establishment of the society and the daily meetings. The External Affairs Department is in charge of the Martial Arts Society's external affairs, such as arranging competitions, sparring, student exchanges, as well as contacting some MCMAU graduates and providing them with internship opportunities. I don't need to say much about the admissions department. The finance department is mainly in charge of the operations of some of MCMAU's businesses. The school actually has a department in charge as well. We are mainly responsible for assisting them. The other thing is the distribution of benefits to the martial arts society members. The Discipline Inspection Department is in charge of rectifying the school's culture, including some of the school's daily patrol arrangements and on-duty issues. The Internal Affairs Department, speaking of the Internal Affairs Department, Zhang Yu thought for a while before saying the Internal Affairs Department is just a name. It should be called the Catacombs Affairs Department. There are very few people in the Internal Affairs Department, including me and a few vice presidents. We are all members of the Internal Affairs Department. We carry out some catacombs missions and bring newcomers into the catacombs. You can also think of it as the Martial Arts Society's Martial Arts Department. Fang Ping understood and asked, Are they all rank for martial artists? Not really. Upper stage rank. 3 can apply to join. Sometimes when there are some team missions, we can organize the school's student powerhouses to work together. After saying that, Zhang Yu hesitated slightly, but he still said, The president of the Martial Arts Society's Internal Affairs Department can force members to participate in some missions. Of course, he has to get the majority's approval. Fang Ping, you are in charge of the Martial Arts Society. I hope you won't lead everyone to their deaths. Fang Ping heard that and laughed. Senior Zhang, you worry too much. I'm not that kind of person. That's for the best. After all, everyone's ultimate goal is to solve the catacombs' troubles. After introducing the Martial Arts Society's general structure, Zhang Yu brought Fang Ping upstairs to patrol. On the way, they met some martial arts society members. They were silent when they saw the few of them. Their gazes were complicated as they watched them carry out the handover. When they reached the president's office, Fang Ping could not help but sigh. How rich and imposing! Although it was called an office, the office was unexpectedly big. There was an office area, a guest area, a bedroom, a training room, and a bathroom. It had everything, and the space was huge. It was obvious that Zhang Yu often stayed here. Daily necessities were everywhere. The office was very clean. Looking at Zhou Yan's reluctant expression, Fang Ping suspected that it was this woman who had helped to tidy up the office. Zhang Yu was a man, and a martial artist at that. Where would he find the time to tidy up these things? After looking around the office, Zhang Yu brought Fang Ping on a stroll around the Martial Arts Society. The Martial Arts Society was huge. This was not just a single building, but an entire building complex. It included many battle arenas, training rooms, office areas, and so on. Just walking around took Fang Ping a lot of time. Strictly speaking, his Ping Yuan Club's office was also part of the Martial Arts Society's territory. After looking through these things, Zhou Yan handed Fang Ping a few documents. They were very simple documents. There were 3 in total. The first was a list of martial arts society members. There were 215 members in the Martial Arts Society today, including Fang Ping and Zhang Yu. There were 9 rank 4 members, 51 rank 3 members, and the rest were rank 2. At its peak, the Martial Arts Society had more than 100 rank 3 members. The second was the Martial Arts Society's financial report. There was a balance of 50 million in cash, a certain number of pills, a certain number of weapons, and 5,000 credits. The third was a list of old members. The Martial Arts Society had grown up with MCMAU. After 60 years of ups and downs, there were countless members, all of whom were outstanding graduates of MCMAU. This list was also the most important one. Zhang Yu's tone was solemn. As a member of the Martial Arts Society, even after graduation, you will still be a member of the Martial Arts Society. The Martial Arts Society and the school leaders jointly govern the school is not empty talk. When the Martial Arts Society encounters some problems, such as corruption by the school leaders, embezzlement of the Martial Arts Society's benefits, weakening the Martial Arts Society's authority, impeachment of the school leaders, and so on, at this time, we can call the old members back and make a joint ruling to put pressure on the school and the Ministry of Education. This is also a trump card for us to keep the school leaders in check. Otherwise, how can we, a group of rank 3 and 4 students, balance those grandmaster powerhouses? Of course, the goal is not to divide power. We still hope that the school can do better and obtain more benefits for the students. MCMAU's Martial Arts Society has been established for so many years. The members are also students of the school. They are loyal to the school and the Martial Arts Society. As long as it is reasonable and the evidence is conclusive, we can even carry out a change in the school's leadership. Fang Ping picked up the list and glanced at it. His pupils shrank. 12 grandmasters. Zhang Yu said in a low voice, "Unless it's absolutely necessary, don't call these old members back. You have to know that they have all graduated. Some have entered the military department, some have entered the government, and some have started their own businesses. If we call for them to return, these people will return. However, once they return, there may be some unexpected situations. For example, seizing power." Zhang Yu lowered his voice again. MCMAU is not an ordinary university. MCMAU has shares in pill companies and weapon manufacturing companies, including some cutting-edge research institutes. We also have our own pill and weapon production lines. In addition, we have the martial arts dojo, vitality pool, energy room, and the combat technique room that is open to the public and not open to the public. This includes some information about the catacombs. The catacombs is our common enemy, but sometimes everyone will keep some information, such as the location of some energy mines, the location of some human powerhouses training in the catacombs, and so on. Fang Ping nodded slightly. He had a general understanding of the situation. After some thought, Fang Ping asked, as the president, "What are the benefits and benefits?" Zhang Yu was speechless. Zhou Yan frowned slightly, but still said, "As the president of the Martial Arts Society, you can collect 100 credits of resources from the Martial Arts Society every month." "So little?" Zhou Yan said unhappily, "It's not little. The school will allocate 20 million cash and 2,000 credits to the Martial Arts Society every month. That's a total of 80 million, and it will reach 1 billion annually. However, the The Martial Arts Society also needs to maintain its daily expenses, including organizing some championship matches, activities, and distributing benefits to the members. Also, if some members die in battle, we also need to be responsible for compensating them. The school will provide a portion, but the Martial Arts Society will also provide an additional portion. Now, the Martial Arts Society has 50 million cash, some pills, and 5,000 credits. These are all saved by the president. He doesn't have it himself. Cough, Fong Ping, if you want to take more, then negotiate with the school. You'll have to depend on yourself. Zhang Yu interrupted Zhou Yan. Fong Ping did not care about her attitude. He smiled and said, "If that's the case, the funds on the Martial Arts Society's books are all saved." Senior Zhang, it's not that I'm trying to nitpick, but I feel that rather than reducing expenses, why not open up more resources? If I'm not wrong, when you took over, the previous president probably didn't leave any stocks for you, right? Zhang, you did not say anything. Zhou Yan complained. When the president took over, the Martial Arts Society was penniless. They had nothing. Fong Ping smiled and nodded. That's how it should be. Zhang Yu did not dwell on this. Instead, he asked, "Now that you're the president, what are your future plans?" First, earn money. Second, increase the benefits. Third, increase the strength of the members. Fourth, it's no longer limited to the Martial Arts Society and non-Martial Arts Society students. MCMAU students must become stronger. Zhou Yan sneered and did not say anything else. It was easy to say, but difficult to do. Fong Ping made it sound easy now. When the time came, he would know that it was not so easy to do. Zhang, you did not say anything. He said, "I hope you can succeed. When I was the president, I didn't set a good example for MCMAU. My own realm is also one step behind others. After the handover, I'll go to other catacombs to train. I hope that when I come back, I can see a brand new martial arts society." When Zhang Yu entered his junior year, he had achieved rank 4, similar to CLA today. However, a year had passed since his junior year, and he was still a middle-stage rank 4. It had to be said that his cultivation speed had indeed slowed down a lot. People like Wang Jinyang were actually surpassed by those who came later. When Zhang Yu was rank 4, these guys were only peak rank 3, including Chen Wenlong. A year later, Zhang Yu's realm was the lowest. It was obvious that the position of the Martial Arts Society president was not that easy. Not only Zhang Yu, but the Martial Arts Society presidents of other schools had also slowed down in their cultivation speed. Everyone had a lot to worry about. Their cultivation time was shorter, and they had less time to go to the catacombs. Compared to being alone, leading a group to become stronger was actually much more difficult. Fong Ping smiled. "I will. I wish you a safe journey, senior. When you come back, you'll be a rank 5. Thank you for your auspicious words." Zhang Yu smiled and did not say anything else. Instead, he talked about the meeting that night. Tonight, the two of them would officially hand over. Martial artists did not procrastinate. Now that things had come to this, Fong Ping had become the president of the Martial Arts Society. Zhang, you also had the intention to go out and train. The earlier the handover, the better. Fong Ping did not hesitate. He was the one who mentioned the meeting earlier. When it was time for a martial artist to stand up for himself, he would not refuse. Wu Quishan took over the position of vice-chancellor, and he did not decline modestly. Soon, Fong Ping left the Martial Arts Society with a few documents. After he left, Zhou Yan bit her lip and looked at Zhang Yu, who looked a little sad. She said softly, "If it wasn't for the Martial Arts Society dragging you down, you wouldn't be weaker than anyone." Zhang Yu shook his head lightly. "I'm the one dragging MCMAU down. In the past year, MCMAU has become more and more weak. MCMAU was strong in the last batch, strong in the next, but not in his batch." It had to be said that this was something that Zhang Yu felt extremely regretful about. "That's not your responsibility." Zhou Yan comforted him. Zhang Yu did not say anything else. He stood by the railing and watched Fong Ping walk away. It was not just Fong Ping. He looked into the distance. The old vice-chancellor had left, and vice-chancellor Wu had taken over. A new era had begun. Chapter 287. 7 p.m. In the Martial Arts Club's conference room. There were 215 people in the club. Other than a few who were away on business, everyone, including Chen Wenlong, had arrived at the Martial Arts Club. When they saw Fong Ping sitting in the middle and Zhang Yu sitting on one side, many people's expressions turned sour. Off stage, Fu Chongding whispered, "Fong Ping, this guy, he's not reserved at all. Isn't he just looking for trouble?" Zhao Lei said indifferently, "Why do martial artists care about these things?" "You're really thinking too much." Fu Chongding was speechless. Zhao Lei, who was the top scorer in the college entrance examination and had a high IQ, was already dead. He was killed by Fong Ping. He had beaten up an outstanding youth who was both brave and intelligent to the point where he only knew how to talk with his fists. Fu Chongding looked regretful and did not look at him anymore. He was afraid that he would be infected. "Let's cut to the chase and get straight to the point." Fong Ping did not bother with pleasantries and went straight to the point. "From today onwards, I'll take over as the president of the Martial Arts Society. I'll give President Zhang some time to cultivate so that he won't delay his martial arts progress. In addition, Minister Zhou mentioned that graduation is imminent and that he needs an internship. He wants to step down from his positions as the Foreign Affairs Department and the Office Director. Since President Xie is also the head of the Student Recruitment Department, I think it is a waste of time. President Xie will no longer be the head of the Student Recruitment Department." Xie Lei lowered his head and didn't speak. Zhang Ziwei was a little angry. She raised her head and said, "Xie Lei is in charge of this year's freshmen. Now that the freshmen are about to enter the school, there are still some matters that need to be dealt with. You want Xie Lei to step down at this time?" Fong Ping said mildly, "It's not time for you to speak yet. Zhang Ziwei, if you interrupt again in the next meeting, then get out. The rules of the Martial Arts Club must be followed." "You." Xie Lei tugged at her gently and shook his head, not letting her continue. If he lost, he had to admit it. The head of the Internal Affairs Department was previously held by President Zhang. "From today onwards, I will take over. As for the Finance Department, Department Head Hu, you've been busy recently. Hand over some matters to senior sister, Lu Mengyao. Lu Mengyao, you'll be the department head." The entire conference room was dead silent. Zhang Yu frowned slightly. Fong Ping had just arrived, and the shift had been changed without any prior notice. Was it really appropriate? Finance Department, Lu Mengyao will be the head. Disciplinary Department, Yi Qing will be the head. Fu Chongding will be the head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Office, Qin Yunqi, Director in. I'll be in charge of both the Recruitment Office and the Internal Affairs Department. Fong Ping said a few simple sentences and said, "Does anyone have any objections?" Complete silence. Fong Ping did not beat around the bush or beat around the bush. He bluntly announced to everyone that the Martial Arts Society, from top to bottom, was now letting his people take over. A few classmates, senior brothers and sisters, and himself had directly distributed the authority of all the departments. The personnel change is the first thing. Although Fong Ping asked for their opinions, he did not give them a chance to refute. He continued, "The second thing is to increase the benefits. In the future, ordinary members would receive 20 credits every month. Senior members, in other words, rank 3 and rank 4 members, cost 50 credits. Department Head Level 1, 100 credits. Vice President, 200 credits. President, 300 credits." Fong Ping. Among the crowd, there was finally someone who was dissatisfied. Zhou Yan said angrily, "Do you know how much it costs to do this every month? More than 7,000 credits. The school only allocates 80 million to us every month. That's not even 3,000 credits. Are you crazy? Fong Ping smiled and said, I'm increasing everyone's benefits. Do you have any objections? You. Zhou Yan's face was full of anger. She gritted her teeth and said, Then you have to take 500 credits every month while holding 3 jobs. Of course. Fong Ping, you're too much. Zhou Yan said angrily, I knew it. You took over the Martial Arts Society president for your own personal gain. Fong Ping smiled and said, Personal gain? I don't think so. I'm increasing everyone's benefits, not just me. Don't tell me it's the same as before, where everyone gets a normal vitality pill and 3 credits a month, and I'll be able to fool them. Then, what's the point of the Martial Arts Society's existence? Or maybe I'll be selfless like President Zhang, not taking a single cent from the Martial Arts Society, and even the vice president has to be like him, selflessly serving the school? Zhou Yan, is this really appropriate? Ask everyone. Are they satisfied? There are many things to do in the Martial Arts Society. Instead of wasting time in the Martial Arts Society, it's better to do missions and earn more. Under these circumstances, do you expect everyone to do their best for the Martial Arts Society? Zhang Yu pressed his hand to stop Zhou Yan, but he himself asked, Then where does the gap come from? More than 200 million in benefits distributed every month was too shocking. The Martial Arts Society and the school allocated 80 million every month. The difference was too big. First, apply to the school. 80 million isn't enough. Round it up and give 100 million. Now that prices are rising, the school should give us more benefits. It's not a big problem. Second, now that everyone is into martial arts universities have a limited number of students. MCMAU only has 3 martial arts training classes in Magic City, which is too few and not enough. The Martial Arts Society will open 2 martial arts training classes in Magic City, with rank 2 students in batches. It's much better than those martial arts training classes in society that fool people. 2 classes, 200 students enrolled, can bring us hundreds of millions of income every year. Third, there are many rich, new students. According to past practice, students can use their own money to change their accommodation. In the past, half of it was given to the outstanding students, and the other half to the people who spent money. From this year onwards, when you enter MCMAU, you'll be treated the same. You'll have to spend money to buy a single dormitory. President Fong. Zhang Yu was slightly angry. This is too much. Fong Ping laughed. Don't rush. I'm not done yet. I'm not only talking about the new students, but also the old students. A portion of the old students don't think about improving and occupy the latrine without taking a shit. I'll give the new outstanding students a chance. A portion of the old students have single dormitories. If they don't want to spend money and live well, that's fine. Go and challenge them. If you win against the old students will move to multiple dormitories, and the winner will be assigned to single dormitories. Don't look at me like that. Even the seniors like you are still hovering around rank 1 and 2. When you entered the school, you were all outstanding students ranked in the top 100. Free food and accommodation were provided. After a few years, you're still rank 1 and 1. President Zhang, this isn't right. Today, the 3 batches of students have a total of 300 single dormitories allocated to outstanding students and 300 to students who spent money. The 300 dormitories allocated to outstanding students can be obtained through challenges. As for the previous 3 batches of students who spent money to exchange for single dormitories, I won't directly implement the new policy for this batch. From the next batch onwards, even if you spend money, it'll only take a year. After a year, these single dormitories will be occupied by powerhouses. Zhang Yu fell silent and did not say anything else. Fong Ping continued. For new students, there are 200 single dormitories this year. Many MCMAU students come from well-to-do families. I'll give you 500,000 for a year. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not. If you don't want to, you can stay in the multiple dormitories. Either you fight for it with your ability, or else it'll be left empty. If all 200 dormitories are rented out, that'll be 100 million in income. Fong Ping laughed. That's 200 million, plus the 2 billion that the school allocates to us every year. That's 4 billion. Zhang Yu exhaled softly. Even so, the gap is still huge. According to Fong Ping's calculations, after a year, including the Martial Arts Society's various expenses, they would need at least 5 billion or more. The gap was huge. It's simple. Organize a few competitions. Fong Ping laughed. Nowadays, everyone is into martial arts. Ever since the Martial Arts Championship, martial arts competitions have become a daily event. However, the competitions in society are uneven, and they don't have high credibility. From this year onwards, MCMAU will be the organizer and organize some competitions every year. For example, the National Freshman Championship. For example, the Rank 2 Martial Artist Championship, or even the Rank 3 Championship. There is no reason to lose money when organizing competitions. There is no reason to spend your own money. Finding sponsors will only make money. This includes the expenses of some awards. These are all the sponsor's business. How can there be a competition that loses money? Also, the competition's broadcast has to be charged. We have to work with many platforms. Only fools will let others broadcast for free. In fact, some companies have this idea, including the local government. But do they have more credibility than MCMAU? No. What is MCMAU? It's one of the most famous martial arts universities in the country and the world. It's not just domestic competitions. We can invite some of the world's famous martial arts universities to organize a multinational martial arts competition with us. How much do we know about foreign martial artists? To be honest, we don't know much. In this way, not only can we deepen the exchange of martial arts domestically and abroad, but we can also promote the development of martial arts. Originally, this should be done by the government. However, now that the competition has just started, the government is still busy with domestic affairs and has no time to care about this. MCMAU should not pass on this responsibility. It should stand up and share the burden of the government. 1 season, 1 competition. 4 times a year. Sponsorship fees, advertising fees, broadcasting fees, ticket fees. Everyone, if nothing goes wrong, a few 100 million will be easy to earn. Martial artists don't want to be seen as clowns, so they don't have to participate. However, there will always be martial artists who want to stand out and be noticed, including some casual martial artists. There will be martial artists participating in the competition. Moreover, it's mainly for the lower 3 ranks. These people have nothing to do anyway. It's better to spar with each other than to sit at home and wait for death. The lower 3 ranks, the rank 3 martial artists in society, usually did not know about the catacombs until they reached upper stage. These people, they really had nothing to do. Other than the 4 points above, there are many other ways to earn money. It depends on whether we are willing or not. Who are we? MCMAU Martial Arts Society. MCMAU's most elite group of students, the most elite group of students in the world. A group of elites actually troubled over this little benefit. We don't need to contribute too much. Even if it's a competition, we can let others do it. As for us, we only need to take a few days every season to be referees and judges. Outside, which rank 3 and 4 students is not a tyrant. As referees and judges, aren't we better than some rank 1 and 2 vitality martial artists in those places? I've also looked at the Martial Arts Society's expenses before. Every year, some of the exchange competitions with other schools actually take up the majority of the expenses. It's ridiculous. We need to prepare everything ourselves. When we get injured, we can't even bear to use healing pills. Everyone, it's a new era. Martial artists also need to keep up with the times. Otherwise, how are we different from the sex? What does it matter if the championship is broadcasted to the outside world? Do you think you're a monkey? What a joke! When we fly in the air and split mountains and seas, who would dare to treat us like monkeys? With money and pills, only then will everyone dare to compete and spar. Rank 1 and 2 martial artists can't enter the catacombs. Instead of cultivating hard, it's still beneficial to spar more. This includes martial artists below upper stage rank 3. If they go to the catacombs, the death rate is extremely high. At this time, sparring with humans is the right way to go. Finding sponsors for the competition, isn't it just wearing other people's clothes and shoes? I'm not asking you to do anything else. Are you afraid of embarrassing yourself? If you're afraid of embarrassing yourself, then don't practice martial arts. You don't even care about life and death. Why would you care about this? Offstage, everyone was discussing in low voices. This seems to be similar to Fong Ping's short advertisement. However, according to Fong Ping, the money should be earned. Everyone's welfare benefits are also high. The worst is 20 credits a month, 240 credits a year, 2 million. Earning money is not that easy. 2 million is not easy to earn even for rank 2 martial artists. Last year, Wang Jinyang was willing to kill a peak rank 2 martial artist for 300,000. 20 credits a month can be exchanged for a rank 2 vitality pill. Under normal circumstances, a rank 2 martial artist can cultivate with a rank 2 vitality pill a month. That is enough. Of course, if you want to speed up, it is not enough. However, the Martial Arts Society is giving extra, which is equivalent to earning for free. It is still very tempting. On stage, Fong Ping smiled. There are many ways to earn money. I won't talk about it for now. However, the welfare benefits will be implemented according to what I said. Zhou Yan gritted her teeth and said, 500 credits a month yourself is too much. What a joke. Fong Ping smiled. When I step down as the director of 2 departments, it will only be 300 credits. What's so much? Those who can do more work will be rewarded. I am the director of 2 departments, so naturally I will have more. All right, it's decided. As for Senior Zhou, you're going to the company for an internship anyway. I won't assign you any tasks. As a rank 3 member, I will give you 50 credits a month for free. I don't want it. That's good. If you don't want it, then I can save some. Fong Ping did not stand on ceremony. He smiled and said, Is there anyone else who doesn't want it? Everyone was silent. Qin Fengqing did not say anything. Zhou Yan was out of her mind. He was the vice president. 200 credits a month. 6 million for free. Why would he not want it? 6 million. He might not even get that much money from killing a rank for in the catacombs. When Zhang Yu was in charge, Qin Fengqing could not remember how long he worked for free. Since there are no objections, next item. Fong Ping continued, personnel and welfare are not the main points. The main point is still the improvement of strength. To be honest, there are not many shortcuts to the 3 lower ranks. Popping pills is the fastest, but you need money. The second is actual combat, which is good for the cultivation of combat techniques. How to gain experience. First, go to various schools to compete in championships. Earn money and gain experience. Second, go to local competitions and defeat those local teams. Make a name for yourself, earn money and gain experience. Third, go and challenge martial arts training classes. If we succeed, we will open a branch there. If we fail, we will change to another one and continue. Fourth, President Fong. Zhang Yu felt a headache coming on. If you do this, you will disrupt the order of the entire martial arts world. Fong Ping said disapprovingly, What time is it now? The martial arts world is a pool of stagnant water. Are we all waiting for a pie to fall from the sky? Dreaming of becoming a rank 9? Stir things up a little and stir up the martial arts world. The government will probably be happy to see it. As for the catacombs, I don't recommend martial artists below upper stage rank 3 to enter. The school has its considerations and we have ours. Don't blindly listen to the school's arrangements. Martial artists below upper stage rank 3 will only face risks when they enter the catacombs. There are not many benefits. Work hard to cultivate to upper stage rank 3. This is your top priority. I support upper stage rank 3 martial artists going to the catacombs. This is because the catacombs is the place where human martial artists improve the fastest. Of course, some of what I've just said is common knowledge. Everyone knows that. Also, starting from this year, the Martial Arts Society will add an assessment system. There will no longer be a situation where once you enter the Martial Arts Society, you will be a member for life. Do you still think it's an iron rice bowl? Rank 3 and above will not be assessed. Those below rank 3 are mostly upper stage and peak rank 2 now. I'll give you a year. If you don't achieve rank 3, you will be kicked out of the Martial Arts Society. Don't embarrass the Martial Arts Society. From now on, there will be an assessment every year. The great MCMAU will be reduced to not even 100 rank 3 martial artists. How embarrassing! That's all for now. When I think of something else, I will add more. Many people were speechless. So this was only a part of it? In the future, the Martial Arts Society would not have an easy time. All right, meeting adjourned. Department heads and martial artists above upper stage rank 3 stay. Fong Ping sent everyone away. When there were fewer people, Fong Ping looked at Qin Fengqing and Xie Lei and said, Xie Lei, Qin Fengqing, I have a mission for both of you. Qin Fengqing said without hesitation, no way. Then leave the Martial Arts Society. We don't keep idle people. Qin Fengqing gritted his teeth so hard that they broke. Damn it, you're too much. Xie Lei did not refute. He said in a low voice, what mission? Get some sponsors. This year is MCMAU's 60th anniversary. I wanted to organize it, but now that the old vice-chancellor and the others have died, I won't do it. However, with so many powerhouses going out of MCMAU, it's still possible to support the school's construction. Both of you are rank for martial artists. You are also qualified to represent the Martial Arts Society. Split up. The standard for grandmasters should not be lower than 50 million. The middle ranks should not be lower than 10 million. As for the 3 lower ranks, it depends. If you do well, 3 to 5 million. If you don't, then forget it. If you get more, there's hope for billions or even tens of billions. However, I'm afraid that both of you won't be able to open your mouths. That's fine too. I'll arrange a few assistants for you later. If you can really pull in tens of billions, the number of rank 3 students in MCMAU will increase immediately. This is a major event that affects the school's future. Also, some of the big entrepreneurs in society, whether they graduated from MCMAU or not, you have to go too. If you go, say that you're alumni. If they don't say anything, then forget it. If they say anything, say that you remembered wrongly. When you get back, give them an honorary alumnus certificate. This is your mission. If the sponsorship is less than 1 billion, don't come back. Qin Fengqing said unhappily, what benefits do we get then? If you come back, of course there will be benefits if you sponsor more. If it's less, then there's no benefit. Then he looked at the others and said, your mission. First, welcome the new students. Remember to convey everything I said about the dormitory allocation. Also, take pictures. If it's a multi-person dormitory, find a few rented rooms outside and take pictures. If it's a single-person dormitory, take pictures of ourselves. Everyone was mentally exhausted. How could he do this? Second, prepare for the new student championship. The sooner the better. Or don't call it the new student championship. Call it the national rank 1 competition. That's it. Third, open the martial arts dojo immediately and recruit students. Fong Ping exhaled and said, that's it. Oh, right, Chun Yunqi, Fu Chongding, and the rest of you. Don't forget about the Ping Yuan Club. Arrange some jobs for the club members, like instructors for martial arts training classes or something. Recruit some new students and continue to set up the express delivery team. We don't need too many people. That's it for now. Let's go. Being the president is really tiring. After hearing his complaints, everyone wanted to criticize him too. What are you tired of? Zhang Yu doesn't take a single cent when he's the president. As the president, you set a monthly salary of 15 million for yourself the moment you took office. Aren't you afraid that the school leaders will give you trouble? Even some of the instructors in the school, rank 4 and 5, don't have such a high salary. No, they might not even have rank 6 ones. Chapter 288. MCMAU's reform began without warning. Soon, all the grade 09 new students received a notice from the school. Dormitory allocation plan for grade 2009 new students. When this proposal was circulated by some of the new students, it immediately caused a heated discussion in society. 500,000 a year. MCMAU is robbing money. As one of the top 2 universities in the country, MCMAU is wasting its energy on the dormitory allocation plan to reap huge profits. Instead of that, it's better to put more effort into teaching. Don't spend money to stay in. Only a fool would spend 500,000 a year to rent a dormitory. Many people in society were calling for the new students not to be foolish. 500,000 was enough to buy a house in a second-tier city. However, these people really underestimated the spending power of martial artists. When some people saw those dirty dormitories, in fact, some of the students who graduated from MCMAU, they all rebuked the netizens for spreading rumors. The environment of MCMAU's dormitories was excellent too. They were all single rooms. There were no big bunks. Of course, it was up to the new students whether they believed it or not. How could the photos sent by the school be fake? Therefore, before school started, the recruitment office received many inquiries from parents. There were 2,000 new students in grade 09. At least half of them were born in families of martial artists and businessmen. 500,000 was a lot, but in order to let their children have a stable living environment that was more suitable for practicing martial arts, there were many who paid the money. Soon, the 200 spots were filled. Of course, it did not matter if it was full. Fang Ping did not reject anyone. Soon, he had people clean up some of the closed dormitories and open them to the public for rent. MCMAU may lack everything, but it did not lack buildings. The reason why he let those people live in the dormitories was actually to motivate them. Of course, management became lax in the later stages. The instructors were not interested in this, and the students did not want to change the status quo, so it was still a stagnant pool. On the internet, many people were extremely dissatisfied with MCMAU's situation. Both the Magic City Education Department and the Education Department had received complaints. Of course, Fang Ping did not care about these things. Wu Quishan, Huang Jing, and the others were also silent, letting Fang Ping do what he wanted. Fang Ping had just been appointed. It might not be a good thing to meddle in the affairs of the martial arts society now. When Fang Ping's mess could not be cleaned up, the grandmasters would step in. No matter how big the trouble in the school was, it would not be a problem. However, Fang Ping would have to pack his things and leave. School was about to start. Everyone had a lot to do. The martial arts society had almost become Fang Ping's court. McMao. Fang Ping, MCMAU's accommodation is so expensive. It's too scary. On the other end of the phone, Fang Ping grinned and said, "Yes, this policy was set by me, your brother." The surrounding area instantly fell silent. After a while, he asked in disbelief, "You made the decision?" "That's right. I, your brother, am now the student leader of MCMAU. Do you know what the leader means? That Yuan Ping Club of yours, what are you doing? There's no future at all. I am now in charge of 7,000 students, and they will all become martial artists very soon. Compared to me, little girl, you're too inexperienced." Fong Ping's tone was smug. Didn't he say that all 3,000 girls knew martial arts? Look at how smug you are. Don't say that I don't know how to do it. Even if I do, your brother, am really in charge of 7,000 martial artists. I'll scare you to death. Didn't you just become a sophomore? What's wrong with being a sophomore? Fong Ping chuckled. In this day and age, strength is king. I, your brother, am strong, so I call the shots. Do you collect membership fees? Fong Yuan asked hurriedly. Brother, you martial artists are so rich. If you collect 10,000 per person, that'll be 70 million. If it's 100,000, Fong Yuan seemed to be stunned. She mumbled, 700 million. Brother, then you'll be the richest man in Sun City. If you collect once a year, in a few years, you'll be the richest man in auspicious Sun City or even Nanjiang. Brother, you're so good at earning money. That's amazing. I only collect $10 per person. That's only 50,000 per year. Wait. Fong Ping interrupted her. Little girl, 30,000 is more like it, right? Haha, about that, I guess, Fong Yuan said awkwardly. She hurriedly changed the topic. Brother, do you split your accommodation fees alone? What are you thinking about? The money belongs to the university. Fong Ping laughed. But your brother is also an executive now. My monthly salary is 15 million. TSK, I didn't expect that. Fong Ping was delighted. The martial arts club was indeed a good place to earn money. After sharing his joy with his sister, Fong Ping quickly asked, What about you? Have you honed your bones once? Not yet. Fong Yuan's voice became softer. She said softly, but soon. I think it'll be done in 1 or 2 months. Idiot! Fong Ping scolded her with a tone of exasperation. Why do I have such an idiot sister like you? Your brother is now a middle stage rank 4, and I'll be a rank 5 soon. You haven't honed your bones once yet. When will you be able to hone your bones twice? When will you become a martial artist? I'll get someone to send you some pills. The next time I go back, if you haven't honed your bones once yet, I'll break your legs. Fong Yuan felt wronged. I thought I was amazing. I'm invincible in Sun City now. But my brother is really amazing. He's even made it to the position of boss in MCMAU. If he collected membership fees, it would be tens of millions. Compared to my brother, I'm really miserable. The siblings exchanged their experiences of being bosses. Fong Ping reprimanded his sister for a long time with a clear conscience. With such an outstanding brother, his sister could not embarrass herself too much. Forget about rank 3 and 4 in a year. There were still 3 years left. Before Gaokao, she should at least break through to become a martial artist with her twice-honed strength, right? There was not much difference between the granddaughters of grandmasters and the children of rank 3 and 4 martial artists. Before they became martial artists, everyone's efficiency in absorbing and digesting pills was about the same. Fong Ping did not cut off his supply. Fong Yuan should have the same speed as the children of rank 7, 8, and 9 martial artists. Of course, there was the possibility of powerhouses using energy stones to build an energy house for their descendants to cultivate. Fong Ping could not compare to those whose families had mines. In the next few days, Fong Ping was quite busy as the president. On one hand, the Martial Arts Society had to manage it. On the other hand, the Ping Yuan Club also had to manage it. Old Wang also called. NMAU could build an e-commerce platform or let Fong Ping's company run it. However, NMAU had to participate in the management, including the right to hold Fong Ping accountable. Fong Ping agreed without hesitation. He announced, Brother Wang, I'm already a middle stage rank 4. Recently, I've realized that honing the heart after achieving upper stage rank 4 is quite troublesome. Do you have any good suggestions? Wang Jinyang, who was on the other end of the phone, was silent for a full 7 to 8 seconds. Finally, he said meaningfully, the difference in rank doesn't mean anything. Work hard and strive to become a powerhouse among your peers. Fang Ping said straightforwardly, "It's all right. I think 5 or 6 moves are enough to defeat Zhang Yu. Emma, not bad. I met him once and used 3 moves. Brother Wang, you're amazing." Fang Ping flattered him. He turned around and said, "Actually, I can use 3 moves too. But since we're from the same university, I have to save some face." Old Wang said thoughtfully, "I've just reached peak rank 4. It's not good to argue with Zhang Yu. Fang Ping, do you want to spar with me when you're free?" "Peak rank 4. I'll wait a little longer." Fang Ping hung up the phone with a smile. After that he spat. Old Wang was really shameless. A peak rank for wanted to spar with him? Unbeknownst to him, on the other end of the phone, Wang Jinyang was also cursing. This little bastard was getting cocky now. But then again, he was the one who had taught him the rudiments of martial arts. Now that Wang Jinyang was about to catch up, it was too embarrassing. Old Wang felt that he was also a person who cared about his reputation. If Wang Jinyang really caught up to him, he would lose all his face. After secretly competing with Old Wang, Fang Ping did not delay his own cultivation. If it were anyone else, as the president of 2 clubs and the boss of a company, they would not have the time to cultivate. Fang Ping, however, was not in a hurry. By the 31st of August, Fang Ping's strength was increasing day by day. His middle stage was also becoming more and more stable. Wealth: 37 million vitality, 1,500 calories, 1,620 calories plus. Mentality: for 100 hertz, 629 hertz plus. Bones honed: 177 bones, 100%, 29 bones, 30% plus. In the president's office, Fang Ping checked his vitality and mentality. He mumbled, "I haven't honed my skull yet. I'll give it up for now. I really don't have the money. As for vitality, I think it won't be a problem for me to reach 2,000 calories. It's actually quite worth it. 8 million should be enough. Mentality, I've never increased it before. I don't know if it's the same as vitality. 10,000 wealth points can forcibly increase 1 point." Improving mentality was much more difficult than vitality. Back then, Fang Ping's mentality and vitality were equal, but now the gap was huge. Strengthening vitality could be supported by strengthening the physique. Then, what exactly was strengthening mentality strengthening? The brain nucleus? According to Lu Fengru, a high-ranked brain nucleus combined with the heart could simulate a high-ranked mentality coercion. Did mentality originate from the brain nucleus? However, scientists had done tests. Bearing the heartache, they had cut the brain nucleus and heart of a high-ranked powerhouse, but they did not find anything special. Moreover, it was an amalgamation of energy. However, when the two were combined, they could simulate the coercion of mentality. Today, Sino Nation was still doing in-depth research, but it was too difficult to achieve results on the situation of a high-ranked powerhouse. Mentality is much harder to increase than vitality. The risk is also much higher. 10,001 hertz might not be enough. Fang Ping had a better grasp of the system's idiosyncrasies. He would reap what he paid. If 71 million wealth points could allow his mentality to reach 1,000 hertz, Fang Ping would not believe it. Whether or not he could even raise it to 1,000 hertz was a problem. There must be a limit. Fang Ping made a prediction, and he believed in it. I'll give it a try. I still have some wealth points now, and in the future I can receive a sum of benefits from the Martial Arts Society every month, including the military department's previous battle results. When the statistics are out, I'll get some. Wealth points will come later. Now that he had a stable income, Fang Ping did not have to be stingy anymore. He was afraid that if he spent all his wealth points, he would not have enough to restore his vitality. Half an hour later, Fang Ping felt that his strength had increased a lot again. Wealth, 29. 3 million vitality, 1,500 calories, 2,000 calories mentality, 400 hertz, 699 hertz, bone honing, 177 bones, 100%, 29 bones, 30% plus. Increasing mentality by 1 hertz is actually 10 times the increase of vitality. Fong Ping shook his head. Increasing mentality by 70 hertz had cost him 7 million wealth points. Moreover, the plus was gone. Does this mean that there's no way to increase it anymore, or that there's no way to increase it at this stage, and I have to break through the ranks? Fong Ping was more inclined to the latter. Middle stage rank for his physique's limit, vitality's limit, and mentality's limit had all reached a peak, and there was no way to increase it anymore. When I reach upper stage rank for, maybe I can continue to increase it. Fong Ping did not think too much about it. He had just stood up when his body suddenly swayed, and in a moment of carelessness, he stepped on a hole in the floor. That was not all. Fong Ping felt that his brain was unable to focus, and he felt drowsy. What's wrong? What's going on? My physique increased too quickly. Is my body not used to it? When my mentality increases a little, shouldn't I be more and more awake? Why am I drowsy? Fong Ping suddenly felt a little scared. He staggered and ran outside. Outside, Chen Yunqi saw him running unsteadily and quickly shouted, "Fong Ping, are you okay?" "I'm fine. I'm going to the instructor's." Fong Ping did not even look back. He ran toward the dormitory area hurriedly. Who knew how many holes he had stepped on? The patrolling martial arts society members sighed when they saw the holes on the ground. They followed suit and counted. Although Fong Ping was the president, maintaining the school's public facilities was something that everyone had to abide by. 2 days ago, Fong Ping had increased the punishment and compensation. In the past, he could fight a fight with 300,000 compensation. Now he could forget about it without 500,000. Fong Ping, on the other hand, had stepped on so many holes that the patrolling martial arts society members felt sorry for him. Don't even think about fooling the president if he doesn't have 5 or 6 million. Seeing that the number was still increasing, the patrolling martial arts society members felt even more sympathetic. It's at least 8 million. It's over. It's at least 10 million. The president won't go back on his word, will he? It's really over. Instructor Lu's door has been torn down. This is no longer a matter of money. The patrolling martial arts society members saw that Fong Ping had sent Lu Fengru's door flying with a push, and they immediately sobered up. They stopped calculating how much money they had to pay and ran. This was no longer a matter of money. This was a matter of life and death. Boom! The next moment, Fong Ping flew backward. He landed about 10 meters away from Lu Fengru's door, smashing a human-shaped hole. Bastard! Lu Fengru's angry voice could be heard. This brat had become extremely arrogant. He used to knock on the door, but now he was tearing it down. Was he going to tear down the house another day? Instructor, help! Fong Ping's pitiful voice traveled far. I didn't want to do this, but now Fong Ping felt that he was losing control. In the next second, Lu Fengru grabbed Fong Ping by the neck and dragged him into the house with the broken door. The patrolling martial arts society members ran even faster. It's over. It's really over now. Is the martial arts society going to change its president again? The escaping club member couldn't help but have such a thought. In the villa, Lu Fengru's expression changed again and again. After a while, she said, I want to cut you up for research. Fong Ping pulled a long face and said sheepishly, Instructor, please don't joke around. I'm not joking. Lu Fengru's eyes were sharp, and her face was full of interest. How did you do it? Your mentality has become stronger again. It's only been a few days, and it's abnormally strong. It's beyond your control. Physique, too. It's comparable to a peak rank for martial artist's physique. Your vitality is very strong. Even if it's not 2,000 calories, it's not far off. Fong Ping, tell me, should I cut you up for research? And your bone marrow, how did you turn jade-like? Even I can't do it. Fong Ping, be good and cooperate with me. I promise, after I cut you up, you'll still be alive. Help? Instructor Li. Dean Huang, save me. Save me. Fong Ping screamed. Lu Fengru was going crazy. How scary. She was really going to cut him up. If no one came to save him, he would really be cut up. Be good and cooperate. You won't die. Help. Fong Ping roared loudly. He staggered and broke into a run. Am I stupid? Why did I think of asking Lu Fengru for help? Lu Fengru is going crazy from wanting to break through to Grandmaster. Isn't this a free lunch? Not long after Fong Ping screamed, a figure descended from the sky. Fong Ping grabbed the white-haired Wu Quishan and hugged his thigh. He said pitifully, Vice-Chancellor, the instructor wants to cut me up. Save me. Wu Quishan breathed a sigh of relief and glanced at Lu Fengru. Lu Fengru was sitting on the sofa with her legs crossed. Her eyes were unfriendly as she said, Get out! Fengru, get out! Vice-Chancellor, don't go. Take me with you. Fong Ping grabbed Wu Quishan's trouser leg tightly, refusing to let go no matter what. Lu Fengru's expression was unfriendly as she scolded, Idiot! Fong Ping seemed to have thought of something. He let go instantly and laughed dryly. Vice-Chancellor, you should go about your business. I was just joking with the instructor. Wu Quishan looked at him deeply, then at Lu Fengru. He did not say anything and flew away. As soon as he left, Lu Fengru said with a faint smile, Why aren't you shouting any more? Fong Ping smiled bitterly. I'm afraid the Vice-Chancellor wants to cut me up too. Lu Fengru let out a humph. Then she said, Tell me what happened. Your situation is caused by your ability increasing too quickly. I've seen examples like you before. A lucky guy who somehow entered the catacombs energy mine and went from peak rank 3 to peak rank 4 in one day. After that, your situation happened. He encountered an energy mine and was lucky enough to return to the stronghold alive. What about you? Did you encounter an energy mine too? Fong Ping was troubled. After a while he said, Instructor, if I said that I woke up and became like this, would you believe me? Why don't you guess? I don't believe it either. But it's the truth. It's true. I often become stronger after I awaken. Do you think I'm an idiot? I really didn't. It's true. Fong Ping smiled bitterly. I don't know what's going on, but I keep feeling that there's an unknown energy in my brain that automatically spills out. Then, my ability becomes stronger. Instructor, you're not really going to cut open my brain, are you? I'll die. If I die, who's going to avenge you? Lu Fengru let out a humph. After thinking for a while, she said, Are you sure that there's energy coming out of your brain? I'm sure. Fong Ping nodded hurriedly. I'm not lying. It's true. Of course. I don't know if it's the brain. Anyway, I don't know where the energy from the system comes from. Brain mutation? Lu Fengru mumbled. This was not easy to check. She did not know if it was good or bad. If the mutation was serious and energy was sent out uncontrollably, Fong Ping might explode. This time it was a clear proof. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse. Lu Fengru shook her head lightly. She really did not know if Fong Ping's situation was a good thing or a bad thing. You should get used to it for a while. There's no better way for now. If this happens again, I'll get a grandmaster to take a look at you and try to seal your brain. That means you're fine now? It's nothing serious. I just need some time to get used to it. Fong Ping breathed a sigh of relief. It was good that he was fine. If he had known, he would not have come. He was almost scared to death. Without further delay, Fong Ping said hurriedly, If there's nothing else, instructor, I'll go back first. Lu Fengru glanced at him and said mildly, Don't forget what happened before. Remember to apply to lift the ban. I remember. I'll apply immediately after the new students enter the school. Everyone has been busy lately. I haven't met the Vice-Chancellor and the others. Go. Fong Ping was just about to leave when Lu Fengru said faintly, "Get someone to fix the door for me. Otherwise, I'll slice you up." Fong Ping was embarrassed. It was not a big deal. Why did she have to scare him? Of course, immediately. Chapter 289. September 1st, Tuesday, new students reported in. A large group of students and parents had gathered outside the school gates. Inside the school gates, Fong Ping's gaze was sharp as he stared at the director of the discipline department, Yi Qing. He gritted his teeth and said, "Senior, you should go back and cultivate." Yi Qing said calmly, "Pay the fine first." "I don't have money." Fong Ping saw that he was still staring at him and felt helpless. After a while, he said, "Why don't you wait for Qin Fengqing to come back and ask him for it? He still owes me 10 million. I'll pay it all as a fine, okay? 10 million is enough to renovate the square a few times. I won't default." Yi Qing said seriously, "You're the president. If you start defaulting, the others will follow suit. We're all martial artists, so we can't stay in school anymore." If a group of inhuman martial artists did not have any control measures and fought among themselves, MCMAU would be torn down in no time. It would not do if the fine was too little. These rich people did not care. Therefore, in MCMAU, destroying public property was a heavy penalty. Fong Ping trampled along the way, breaking hundreds of floorboards. The discipline department gave Fong Ping a sky-high fine of 15 million. Fong Ping sighed. At this moment, he walked carefully. If he was not careful, a hole would appear in the ground. The school's internal affairs inspection and discipline maintenance were the responsibility of the discipline department. At this moment, the director, Yi Qing, personally came to ask for a fine. Fong Ping was troubled. 15 million. How many pills and weapons could he buy with 15 million? "Senior, I'm not defaulting. Qin Fengqing owes me 10 million. That instructor Songyingji owes me about 5 million. Go collect the debt. I'll accept the fine, okay?" Yi Qing looked at him without saying a word. "Senior, everyone is watching the new students. It's not good to collect debts now, is it? Then I'll deduct 500 credits from the office for this month. It's just right." Fong Ping almost vomited blood. Why was he so serious? Naturally, Fong Ping would rather pay than have his credits deducted. Then he would lose out on his wealth. After feeling the pinch for a long time, Fong Ping gritted his teeth and said, "All right, I'll pay." Also, the discipline inspection department needs to patrol carefully. In MCMAU, other than the training rooms, anyone who damages even a blade of grass or a tree will be heavily punished. This included the Haven. There were often students practicing combat techniques there, watching them. Anyone who destroys public property will be severely punished. Also, the student dormitories have to be inspected regularly. MCMAU cannot continue to slack off. Yi Qing glanced at him. "Are you trying to vent your anger over the fine on someone else?" However, if Fong Ping took the lead in paying the 15 million fine, the policy of heavy fines could be implemented smoothly. Okay, got it. In addition, part of the fines will be used for the maintenance of the school's public property. The rest will not be handed over to the Martial Arts Society. All right. Seeing that Yi Qing was still staring at him, Fong Ping said helplessly, "I'll pay the fee later. Don't follow me anymore." "You cracked another floor tile, I know." Fong Ping felt like vomiting blood. "It's just for 1 or 2 days. Isn't 15 million enough to fix a few more floor tiles? My chi and blood are a little out of control right now. Do you really want to find me tens of millions?" Fong Ping complained. 15 million. His month in the Martial Arts Society would have been for nothing. Now, Yi Qing was still staring at him. Did he have any shame? Yi Qing didn't waste any more words, but he still didn't leave. Outside the school gate. The school gate was still closed. The small gate was not opened either. There were close to 2,000 new students. Including their parents, it was crowded outside. Just as everyone was waiting anxiously, Fu Changding and a few others walked out and yelled, "Parents can leave now. Students can enter alone." "Students, can't we go in and take a look? How's the accommodation? How's the food?" Zhao Lei interrupted. "Once you enter MCMAU, you have to abide by MCMAU's rules. Unless the school allows it, parents can't enter MCMAU. This is the rule. Otherwise, you don't have to enter. After today, MCMAU will not accept any students." As soon as he said that, although the parents felt a little regretful, they still retreated and watched their children enter the school. Outside the school gate, Fong Ping watched for a while, then turned to the martial arts society members and said, "Nowadays, each batch of new students is stronger than the last. The standards for entering the school are higher than before, so we have higher expectations for the new students. However, MCMAU's culture, to put it bluntly, is too lax and indulgent. We're all new students, so we should know MCMAU's style. The instructors are very busy and rarely have time to care about these things. In the past, the Martial Arts Society did not care either. They only grabbed some important seedlings. This is not good. Although MCMAU is one of the big two, compared to CCMAU, there is still a big gap. It is not the difference in individual strength, but the difference in the overall strength of the students. Today, there are close to 7,000 students in MCMAU. 60 rank 3 and 4 martial artists. About 500 rank 2 martial artists. The rest are all rank 1 martial artists and aspiring martial artists. It's really embarrassing. Fong Ping shook his head slightly. Those who could enter MCMAU were all geniuses. They were not far from becoming martial artists. However, some of the fourth-year students were rank 1 martial artists. Even if it was not time to graduate, they had been in school for 3 years. 3 years to go from aspiring martial artists to rank 1. Even if they were peak rank 1 was too slow. As he said that, Fong Ping continued, "Therefore, from this batch onwards, the Martial Arts Society must play a role. From the first day of school, we must conduct guidance and strict training. Inform all the new students to complete all the admission procedures within 2 hours and gather at Field 1. Liang Fenghua, who was behind him, laughed. "The president is not giving them any time to rest. I'm afraid this batch of new students is in for a hard time." Fong Ping laughed. "It's not that serious. As the president of the Martial Arts Society, I also hope that MCMAU will be better. Zhang Yu and many of the instructors in MCMAU have the idea of pooling resources to cultivate a portion of the top students. My idea is to open up more sources and obtain more resources. While cultivating the top students, we must also strengthen MCMAU's overall strength. In my opinion, graduating before reaching rank 3 after entering MCMAU is a disgrace." Everyone was speechless. "How dare you say that? Don't compare yourself to others. It's not that easy to improve in martial arts. All new students gather at Field 1 in 2 hours. Those who are late or fail to show up will bear the consequences." When the new students entered the school one after another, the members of the Martial Arts Society's disciplinary department shouted. A new student quickly said, "Senior, are we having a welcome party right after entering the school?" The Martial Arts Society member who was asked was slightly stunned. He said with a faint smile, "Yes, a welcome party." The new students hurriedly went through the registration procedures and waited for their dormitory assignments. MCMAU, rooftop of the school archives. The school archives was also MCMAU's tallest building. Usually, ordinary students were not allowed to enter at all. At this moment, both Wu Quishan and Huang Jing were standing on the rooftop. "What do you think?" The white-haired Wu Quishan stared at the main entrance and suddenly asked. Huang Jing said calmly, "Let him be for now. It's just a small change, nothing big. It's also a good thing to strengthen the discipline a little." "I'm not talking about that." Wu Quishan chuckled. "I'm saying that MCMAU today is starting from scratch. The new students have entered the school. Why not take this opportunity to complete the big change? Nowadays, there are very few rank 3 and 4 martial artists in the school. Most of them are rank 1 and 2 martial artists. If you want to improve quickly and strengthen MCMAU's strength, the Catacombs is a good place. MCMAU is MCMAU and not the military department because we teach according to the students' aptitude. We arrange different tasks and trials according to the different progress of each student, allowing them to grow step by step. Once everyone enters the Catacombs, what's the point of MCMAU's existence? We might as well let the military department recruit more people. There's no need to open a martial arts university alone. Wu Quishan said calmly, the situation is different. Back then, the situation was not so tense. That's why we have time to let the students catch up and grow slowly. However, you're not unaware of the situation today. Magic City Catacombs, East Sunflower City, sending troops is the biggest change. The other catacombs are also experiencing the same trend. Dean Huang, how much time do you think the catacombs will give us? 100 years? 80 years? No, in my opinion, maybe only a few years. Wu Quishan sighed softly. In a peaceful environment, how long do you think it will take for the students to grow to middle ranks? Not to mention middle ranks. How long will it take for them to go from rank 1 to rank 3? We don't have time. Then we'll buy time for them. Huang Jing retorted again. Buy time? Wu Quishan mocked himself. How long can we buy? Whether it's intelligence or talent, martial arts university students are the cream of the crop. They're improving slowly now because they don't have any pressure. Have you noticed that the martial arts university students who enter the catacombs improve very quickly, faster than the military department martial artists? However, the students who don't enter the catacombs waste too much time in the 3 lower ranks. We can hold them off for a while, but can we hold them off forever? At the very least, we must let them feel the pressure and despair. Otherwise, I'm afraid we won't be able to wait for the day they grow up. Huang Jing frowned. After a while, he said, if you insist, we can tell all rank 2 martial artists about the catacombs this semester. However, it's up to them to choose whether to enter the catacombs or not. Even if they do, rank 2 martial artists don't need to leave the city. They can just stay in Hope City and experience the environment. Previously, when the rank 2 martial artists from the special training classes entered the catacombs, they only brought us pressure and worry. They didn't achieve the desired effect. Rank 2 martial artists, unless they fight when defending the city, leaving the city is practically suicide. Huang Jing gave in. Wu Quishan did not say anything else after hearing that. He nodded slightly and said, then we'll do as you say. After saying that, Wu Quishan said again, Magic City's catacombs have already opened. The rank 3 and 4 martial artists of MCMAU should start their catacombs missions. If they have to go to the catacombs, then go. Huang Jing laughed and said, the Martial Arts Society said that martial artists below upper stage rank 3 can't enter the catacombs. Fang Ping is currently preparing for the Grand Martial Arts Competition. At this time, no one will go to the catacombs. Wu Quishan frowned slightly. He thought for a moment and said, then let's wait and see. This kid is a little reckless. I heard that he asked Qin Fengqing and Xia Lei to collect funds from all over the world. Those 2 kids are also stubborn. Once they go, they won't leave. Even if the money is less, they won't leave. This is considered forceful apportionment. If this goes on, I'm afraid MCMAU's reputation will be damaged. Huang Jing smiled faintly and said, if it's damaged, so be it. To be honest, some people should be sacrificed. Many middle-ranked martial artists only complete a few mandatory missions every year. If they come from society, from the martial arts class, I don't care. Let them be. The catacombs is a matter of life and death. It's normal for them to be unwilling to take risks. However, Students from martial arts universities who have stepped into the middle ranks are also greedy for life and afraid of death. They blindly accumulate wealth. Wealth has really become a number. They can't even bear to spend money on their own cultivation. Isn't it normal for people like this to sacrifice a little? There are many kinds of people. You can't expect everyone to have a spirit of dedication. Wu Quishan thought it was normal. So what if they were martial arts university students? There were martial arts university students who were afraid of death too. There were also martial arts university students who were fearful. That's why I don't count on them. However, they graduated from martial arts universities. Back then, the university subsidized them a lot in order to nurture them. Since they're unwilling to contribute in the catacombs, shouldn't they contribute a little money now that they have spare energy? They set up businesses, reduced taxes and exemptions, and even used MCMAU's reputation to become a local tyrant. Shouldn't people like this contribute a little? Wu Quishan did not refute anymore. He only said, let's wait and see. Let's see if there are any changes in MCMAU. I think there will be. Huang Jing chuckled. At last, he said, Fang Ping has submitted a report to the university office that Lu Fengru has lifted the ban on the pressure room. I guessed it. Wu Quishan was not surprised. He said calmly, do you think the ban should be lifted? Lift it. After all, it's against the rules. Wu Quishan did not utter a word. Huang Jing continued, it's still too early for Lu Fengru to become a grandmaster. Even if she goes to the pressure room, there's no hope of her becoming a grandmaster without a year or two. Just like what you said, the situation has worsened. Our opponent is no longer just Skygate City. One more grandmaster can reduce a lot of pressure on us. The pressure room is actually only secondary. Wu Quishan said softly, I'm afraid the reason why she let Fang Ping take the position of the Martial Arts Society president is not because of the pressure room, but the catacombs mineral distribution map. Huang Jing's brows furrowed instantly. Fang Ping hasn't completely sorted out the situation in the Martial Arts Society. Maybe he doesn't take it seriously, but Lu Fengru won't. Her entering the pressure room is only the first step. I suspect that she wants to enter the catacombs and find an energy mine to break through to rank 7. Huang Jing's brows furrowed tightly. After a while he said, it's too dangerous. Yes, it's too dangerous. Would she be willing to cultivate step by step? Wu Quishan smiled bitterly. She's always wanted to get her hands on MCMAU's mineral distribution map. She even snuck into the southern area a few times to steal the distribution map. She doesn't dare to go to the military department. After all, the military department isn't playing around. However, MCMAU also has a lot of mineral distribution information. Fang Ping is qualified to go. Then don't let Fang Ping go. Huang Jing frowned. He hoped that Lu Fengru would break through, but not in the catacombs. Looking for energy mines was a shortcut to breaking through. In the energy mines, the energy particles were shockingly concentrated. However, this also meant that it was shockingly dangerous. Unsurprisingly, the energy mines were occupied by high-ranked creatures. Moreover, their strength was uncertain. There were rank 7, 8, 9, and sometimes there were more than one. Every year, there were peak rank 6 powerhouses who, in order to fight for a chance, went deep into the energy mines to cultivate. The mortality rate was also shockingly high. Of course, an individual search was extremely slow and aimless. They might not be able to find it. However, forces like the military department and MCMAU had gone deep into the catacombs for so many years. They still found some mineral distribution, but they could not occupy it. They could only give it up for now and wait for the opportunity to seize it. Once Lu Fengru got the mineral distribution map, she was very likely to go deep into the catacombs and enter the energy mines. The probability of encountering high-ranked creatures was almost 99%. It was extremely risky. Even Wu Quishan did not dare to say that he could successfully protect his path. If it was that easy, those energy mines would have been cleared out by the rank 9 grandmasters in the country. Don't let Fong Ping go in. Wu Quishan shook his head lightly. It was easy to say. The martial arts society had great power. If he did not let Fong Ping go in, this kid would be confused and call back the old students. If he did not feel that Chan Wenlong might not be able to suppress Fong Ping, Wu Quishan would not let Fong Ping become the president of the Martial Arts Society. It was not Fong Ping, but Lu Fengru. Not only Lu Fengru, but also Li Chongqing. Of course, whether Li Chongqing took the risk or not. Wu Quishan did not care too much. Old man Li had already made up his mind to go to the catacombs. If he did not ask for the mineral distribution map, the school would not refuse him. Perhaps Li Chongqing had the slightest chance of finding something good in the core of the energy mine that could help him recover his mental strength. Wu Quishan was still wary of Lu Fengru. He knew this woman too well. Once she got the map, she would soon go to the catacombs to find a breakthrough opportunity if nothing went wrong. From Wu Quishan's point of view, there was no need for Lu Fengru to throw her life away. So what if she could not become a grandmaster,